Oh, hello. My name's Andy Kirkpatrick. You probably know that already because you've already bought this DVD. I'm on over there in about an hour and a half. This is about the 10th night of my tour. I've made no money whatsoever. No one's turned up. I'm trying to make this DVD. It costs 10 quid, I expect. And you could have seen it for £2.50 more, but you're probably one of these skinflint climber types who can't be asked to even get out. Probably went to the climb wall instead. Anyway, it's very important that you buy this DVD. I've got lots of expenses, sexual, medical kind of things I need to pay for. Anyways, hope you enjoy it. I need to have a bit of a kip. I'm absolutely wasted. And I'll be on soon, so anyway, thanks a lot. Bugger off. Hello. How come there's no one sat there? I think you should sit together, you two. Anyway, thanks for coming. This is being filmed by a new programme, Discovery, Born Twat. It's basically working on the whole Bear Grylls kind of thing. And there will be some swearing in this, I just realised. Anyway, so yeah, thanks for coming. It's very bright, isn't it? I can see you all. I really hate that. Anyway, so we'll start at the beginning. My name's Andy Kirkpatrick. I feel like I'm some kind of Labour conference here. Like I should be doing. I feel like Neil Kinnock. Oh, yay! Oh, anyway. So, yeah, this is me, 1973. When I was born, do you know when you get older and your mum and dad tell you things like you were adopted and stuff like that you're really surprised about? Well, I remember my mum telling me not long ago, she said, oh, we thought you were a dwarf when you were born. Because I was really, really small for my age. Like, I'm 16 in this picture. I was really, really small and my head was really big. I actually did work with a dwarf once. And when you work with a dwarf, people will say, what's the difference between a dwarf and a midget? And there isn't a difference, it's the same thing. And so I was really, really small for my age. And but I was in proportion. But actually, when I worked with this guy who was a dwarf, it turned out it's actually a good kind of move, you know. If anybody has kids and they're a dwarf, or you want to go out with a dwarf, it's actually good. It's a good move. There's lots of work. You can get jobs in like Star Trek, Doctor Who, Star Wars, pantomimes, and all this kind of stuff. And this guy I worked with, he was really talented. He was just standing for another dwarf. That's another story altogether. But anyway, so he wasn't like the number one dwarf. He was like the second dwarf, but not in like the 7 dwarfs. Because they'd have like 7 times by 2 dwarfs. Anyway, but I said to him, I didn't mean to do it. One day we were walking back from having some food. It wasn't a date or anything. We just went for some food, and we were walking back. And I said, like, one of these days, you're going to be really famous, and I'm going to say, I knew you when you were this tall. And anyway, this is my dad's finger here. This thing here. He was a rubbish photographer. It's here tonight. And people much shorter in the 70s. Like, this is a washing line. See how small it is? I was kind of born before health and safety, which was really, really lucky, because it meant that kind of, when I was a kid, people had broken arms and, people drowned and stuff. It was like, you kind of knew what danger was. These days, kids don't really know, kind of cycling down the motorway, that kind of stuff. I have a problem with impulse control. I've only realised recently that I have a real problem with impulse control, because my son, they reckon he's got ADHD, one of those things. Like, people have dyspraxia, he's just clumsy, all that kind of stuff. And so anyway, impulse control. Recently, I did a talk for Ensley Insurance. Kind of like, hi there, hi team. Yeah, let's climb to the summit of success. And not really. And basically, this is the same old crap as this, really. So, but it was like in Bradford. There's a lot of Asian people there. And this slide came up, and I meant to say, it's great in the 70s, there was no political correctness. I said, it was great in the 70s, everyone was a racist. But then I just had to speak really, really quickly, and then they got really confused, like, what did he just say then? So, last example is my girlfriend type person. I am still married, but it's my future ex-wife, because I'm not divorced yet. But my girlfriend now is, we get on very well. And my girlfriend now, she's in a wheelchair. She used to be a good climber, fell off, wasn't that good. Ended up in a wheelchair. But she won this, what's it called? Woman of the Year award for Cosmopolitan magazine. So I went down to London and this big thing, and she doesn't know anything about celebrities. So she's at this party, and there's this woman there, and she goes, what do you do? Because she's in a wheelchair, she's not really small. So what do you do? It actually rhymed with a dwarf, that's why we went out with her. She said, what do you do? And the woman said, I'm Danny Minogue. He said, and what do you do? So, But like Kylie Minogue, yeah. Anyway, so the following day, I went to number 10 Downing Street. It was like really, really amazing, and like, you know, it was Gordon Brown wasn't going to see us, but his wife did, Sarah Brown, and she's a bit scary. She's kind of like Margaret Thatcher, like, oh, hello everybody, and she wears like really weird clothes, like, you know, like weird clothes like only like Margaret Thatcher would wear. And there's all these famous people. There's that woman, that Welsh woman, you know, the fat one. There was that guy who did the sex text. There was all these like people, famous people. I don't really know famous people either, but I knew that's what they were. Anyway, so we're all stood there, and Gordon Brown's wife comes over, and Karen sat there all stood around like, oh, Gordon Brown's wife's coming. She came over, and she said to Karen, oh, did you enjoy yourself last night? Unfortunately, there was a bit of a pause before she spoke. And when we were kids, my mum could get her act together to even rent a telly. So we had this telly, we had to put 50p's in the back of it and turn the thing, and it made it go on and off. So when there was no sound in the house, it meant there was no money. So I really hate silence, as you'll probably realise this evening. So anyway, there's a bit of a silence, like, and I went, oh, she doesn't drink, she's a recovering alcoholic. And she gets violent as well. And everyone's like, and Gordon Brown's wife kind of walks away. So anyway, so impulse control. This is where I come from, Hull. I have lots of problems with spelling. And I reckon it's down to these signs you get all over Hull. You know, honestly, it's got a 1 at the end of it. You know, we all know it's got an E at the end of it. Hull's this amazing kind of place. Well, it's not really amazing at all, really. It's pretty rubbish. But you know, like the M62, you've got like Hull on one side and Liverpool on the other side. One's a shithole, the other one's Hull. So you have this. The problem with Hull is it's got this amazing bridge, the most amazing bridge in the world, Humber Bridge, but it joins two places no one ever wanted to go to. So. But it did have a big effect on me later in life, as you will see later on. So this is where I grew up. The misery masonettes, they were called. This is actually a picture of a block of flats in Buenos Aires, which is very strange because next door there's a tango group who I've been following around. Everywhere I go, there's this tango group. And I think they're from Argentina. So I always expect one day some guy to go, that is a lie. That is my house. You're Bear Grylls. Get off. Anyway, so... But I haven't got a picture of the one. So we lived up here, really, really great, good view. The previous tenant committed suicide, hung himself in the stairwell of the house. Nobody wanted to live there, so we moved in. I used to have these dreams that looked like Peter Sutcliffe looking through the window. So I had a very kind of morbid kind of childhood. Like one day my brother locked me in the cupboard and there was a rat. And great memories, so many of them. And anyway, but it was a really good childhood, kind of Eastern European. Any Polish people here? Yes. Anyway, they're probably working. And so I was rubbish at school, wasn't very good. So I got into mountaineering, got into climbing, innocent minds, and I was rubbish. And it became like a professional mountaineer. I've jumped a big gap here, but I basically professional mountaineer means you get free clothes. When we were kids, we used to get free clothes from the council. And when you climb around hard routes, you get free clothes from like Patagonia, people like that. So it's just kind of like a circle, really, of free clothes. When you're risking your life for something, you think, I'm going to get a pair of socks for this. Is it really worth it? But like the $12.99, you get a job in a shop and just like shoplift them instead. It's much easier. So anyway, so the first thing, any young people here? I saw some young person at one point. There he is. Anyway, so first, most important thing to know about when you're a climber or any kind of sport, you've got to be colour coordinated. Doesn't matter if you're good, you just got to look good. If you want to be bitching, you've got to look bitching. And also, the only advice my dad ever gave me, thanks Dad, was only work hard when people are looking. So I always say that for some reason because I have no impulse control. You're there like there's like BP. There's all these kind of like celebrity, you know, all these like huge big 10,000 people. Like, you know, what's your message, Andy, to all of BP? Only work hard when people are looking. You know, there's some guy who's like booked me going, oh fuck, what do you say that for? Anyway, but yes, I'm actually just standing on a sling. La 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 la. But it does work. Do you know if you ever work in a factory? They don't have them anymore. But in the olden days, you used to have factories. And you know, like you're on a lathe. You got a fag in your mouth. You're looking at porn or something. Like when the foreman comes along, if you go like this. I like the cut of your jib, right? You can be a foreman one day. Anyway, so the type of climbing I do, I'm just going to do the quickly about what I am, what I do. It's this kind of climbing. I'm going to zoom in. I'm the one who's colour coordinated, not the other person. And so the type of climbing I do is climbing, not going up Everest. Everest isn't climbing, Everest is a walk. You can define a climb is if you die in a climb, it's very morbid this, but I'm obsessed with death. And anyway, so if you die in a climb, you just fall. You wonder why your mate was belaying you so badly. And you land at the bottom, you probably disintegrate, people gather you up, nick all your gear, and that's it. When you're on Everest, you just drop down dead and you just stay there for a long, long time. So if you have to step over a dead body, that's a walk. and if you have to gather it all up, it's the climb. So this is the climb. So this picture was taken on a mobile phone. I'm trying to get like a mobile phone contract, but you know, sponsorship, but it's not working. And a helicopter was flying past as the picture was taken. Yeah, so into climbing. I think climbing is like masturbation. It's good when you do it. Other people aren't interested in hearing about it. So I'm not going to really talk too much about climbing. There's a bit of climbing, people climbing. You know, when you're working on it, you've got a funny kind of job, and you're in a rubber boat, and someone rings you up on the mobile phone and they say, "What are you up to, Andy?" "I'm sitting in a rubber boat, looking at in a chocolate river, looking at Johnny Depp talking to an Oompa Loompa next to a snosberry tree." "Okay, I'll ring you back." So this is where I met the dwarf on Charlie and Chocolate Factory. That's a whole other story. I haven't got time to talk about it. Anyway, so the North Face of the Eiger. The North Face of the Eiger. This is one of the kind of BBC programmes. The North Face of the Eiger, the death one. This woman really spoils this picture. Like, I just got it off the internet, and I really should have spent longer because it really spoils it. I might just kind of like Photoshop her out. You know, I hope one of these days I'm going to be there. She's probably from Buenos Aires. "That is my house. That is me." So anyway, so this is North Face of the Eiger. We're going to get rid of her. Anyway, so North Face of the Eiger Nord 1. Nord 1 sounds better than Eiger North Face, anyway, for some reason. And anyway, so I went to try and solo the North Face of the Eiger. The original route on North Face of the Eiger, kind of done in 1938, goes up here. Amazing, it's got the same name. So it goes up there, it wiggles around. You basically can walk up it, really. People make a big deal about it. It was really dead easy. People cycle up it, ski down it, everything. So I decided to go up the middle of the, it's called the Harlin route, Eiger Direct, and Directissima. Directissima sounds better than direct. I don't know why, I can't spell it. So anyway, so I went there to try and climb this mountain. And I'd read all these things about the Eiger North Face, the Eiger North Face, the killer mountain. Many men have died. All these German people, "Look out, Helfried, Steiner, Gott in Himmel, Achtung," all that kind of stuff. Sven Hassel. Anyway, so have you ever seen this film where the guy is abseiling? When he's, all his mates have dead, and he's frostbitten, and he's like trying to get down the mountain, and Tony Kurtz, and he's almost there, and he's like, "Oh, I survived so much," and these guys go, Tony, we are throwing up a rope, send down a bit of twine." So he gets a bit of twine, and he's ties it all together, he hangs it down, and "We've got it, Tony, we send up a rope, okay?" So he sends the rope up, gets the rope up, he has to put a peg in, like, ping, ping with his bare hand, ding, ding, he ties it onto it, he's abseiling down, there's a knot in the rope, he's like, "I ain't going to die," he hangs there, and then he dies. If that had been British climbing, you're like, "What the fuck put the knot in the rope, you fucking idiot?" Anyway, but he was very good, very Germanic. It is so romantic. Apparently in the film, his girlfriend's there going, Tony, you're dying. Fucking no, leave me alone. Anyway, they even like her. Anyway, so, it's very hard to take pictures on the North Face of the Eiger, because you're kind of soloing. This is actually a Viennetta in a fridge. But you kind of get the impression, really, And this is some curtains and a piece of paper, like, on the side. And so you're on the North Face of the Eiger, and you're climbing up. I've been on it kind of 4 days, really, really kind of scary kind of thing. I only did the easy bit. And anyway, I get to like 1,000 feet up, so I still have about 2,000 feet to go. And I kind of dig this snow hole. I used to work in London, and I used to work in a climbing shop, and you say, "Oh, these are good in snow." And they go, "Pardon? These are good in snow." What is snow? Anyway, so I dug a snare hole. And I dug a snow hole, I went inside it, and in the morning, I kind of got up and I was going to do the next bit, and I had this kind of soloing device which you put your rope through, but I put it upside down, so I realised it was like, oh my God, like, if you put it the right way, it stops you from dying, but if you put it the wrong way up, you just die if you don't fall off, so, right, I'm too tired, I've got to get off here. Luckily, when they built North Face of the Eiger, the Swiss, they put some windows in it, They're like, Right, lads, you're going to build this mountain. How could you do it? Mountains, they're all the same. Let's put some windows in it. I like it. Let's put a giant cuckoo clock. It comes out every year. No. So anyway, so they put the windows in. They actually built like a railway that goes right through the middle. Don't ask me why. It's like some kind of like, vanity project. So they put this thing. So I knew if I got to these windows, I could get off the North Face of the Eiger. So you're kind of traversing across like, you could actually walk along. But I was just kind of, you're on the North Face of the Eiger, so you kind of, and this friend of mine, Alistair Lear's like, Alice Clark, German for all is clear. Alice Clark, and yeah, I've cleaned it already. Anyway, it's Alistair, I'm going to have to go through the windows. Can you get them open for me? Yeah, all right. So he's like, I'm climbing along. It's really weird there. It's like, it's like in a film, you'd be like, it'd be like a bit of a shot of like your feet, bit of ice, all that kind of stuff. Someone with a telescope going, Gott in Himmel! And climbing along. And then all of a sudden, you look up and there's a small child, like, looking through the window. Anyway, so you're climbing along and I go underneath the window. But the window's like really, really high up and I can't reach it. Like I'm down here somewhere. I can't reach it, get up to here. So I'm like, Alles klar, alles klar. And Alistair comes and he's like messing around. Then he opens the window. His window opens and he goes like, Andy, hurry up, hurry up. When the train comes, it's coming in half an hour, it's going to create this massive blast wave and everyone's going to be blown out of this window. You know, so I'm like, oh my God, so hurry up, like, you know, so hurry up, get through the window. Like, I haven't got it, I can't, get up, send down the rope. I haven't got a rope, oh, for fuck's sake, like, you know, have you got one with a knot in it? No. He's like, I'm like, oh God, there's a child up there, hang him out by his feet. And he's like, no, okay, he's gone. So I was like, oh my God, so I'm rubbish at throwing, so that's what I'm going to climbing. So you get the rope and you're like, ah! And he kind of goes over there and he pulls it all back again. Ah! He's like going all over the place and he's like, for God's sake, he's running like a spastic, hurry up. So I'm like, ah! Anyway, it's not working, it's not working, just leave me here. And he's like, oh, hang on a minute. So it disappears off and all of a sudden, this kind of squeegee thing comes out. And this kind of squeegee thing's kind of, it's like, but he's not attached to anything, he doesn't want to lean out too far. He's like, I can't reach it. Reinhardt, I cannot do it. And so he's like, hang on a minute. So he disappears in again. Then about 5 minutes later, I'm like, hurry up. Then this plug comes out the window. And he's like pulled the plug off this floor polishing machine. He's tied it to the end of this thing, and the plug comes down. It's kind of swinging around. I just grab it. Oh God! I get the rope and I kind of tie the rope to it. Okay, Alistair, pull it up. So he pulls it up. Zzz, the rope's going through the window, and it stops. And you hear this like, okay, it's fixed. So I'm, okay, so I clip into the rope with my Jumars, these like things that climb up ropes, and it's like, and I think, shit, I hope he hasn't just like plugged it in. So I climb through the window, and Alistair comes, he shuts the window, like this. And it's so weird, 1 minute you're on the office Eiger. Next minute you're like a... And there's this guy kind of sweeping up. He doesn't even notice, doesn't even go, bloody hell. He's just like, every fucking day, bloody hell, And Alice's like, quick, the train's coming, we've got to get the train. Oh, I have to run for a train now. Yeah, come on. So we're like running down the, get on the train. There's all these people reading The White Spider, you know. It's like, you know, have you been on it? They all speak Japanese. Anyway, but I realised, when I was on the office Eiger, how rubbish alpine climbing is. It's just like, you're just cold, miserable, think you're going to die, and that's when you're lucky. Most of the time, you sit in a cafe or sit in a tent when it's raining. So I decided that, you know, what do I really love climbing? What I really love climbing is this thing, El Capitan. And it's in Yosemite Valley. The scale of it is you can't really get your head around it, really. It's so massive that you can't really hold how big it is in your brain. So the demonstration, if you were to fall off it, you'd be like this. The ledge there. So, Ala Jones has come on next soon, he was impressed. Anyway, so I was once there. The most scariest thing is you have all these base jumpers, so you're climbing. You're so terrified in El Cap. Someone like, you know, someone writes a check and they click a pen. You're like, oh my God, what's that? What's that noise? And so you're there and you suddenly hear this horrible noise like, and you look up and see a figure falling, tumbling. Oh my God, someone's falling off El Cap. Oh my God. And the parachute opens and then they slam into the rock and they're killed. And like 1 year I was there, a guy base jumped off and it was illegal, so he base jumped off, he landed at the bottom and the rangers tried to capture him and he jumped in the river and he drowned. So, and people said to me, Andy, are you going to get into base jumping? I'm like, no, I'm just going to kill myself and avoid all the training. So Yosemite's got like, El Cap's got like 100 routes on it, loads of different grades of routes, but all of them are fairly hard, even the easy ones are quite hard. And for scale, I did this myself, it's hard to tell. And this is Nelson's column. It looks like Nelson's kind of bullfighter, but it's actually Nelson's column. So Nelson's column is 50-something meters high. I should actually know how high it is because I'm just saying how high this is. But anyway, it's quite high, isn't it? So look at that. Oof. That's probably not actually true, but that looks impressive. Is any French people here? Ooh la la. Is any German people here, more like? That's good. Is any ginger people here? Is any dustmen? Bin pay people? Oh, great. Anyway, so that's got that cleared. Anyway, so that's how big it is, ready? Not as impressive, actually, I'd say that. Anyway, but this is the best kind of thing. Pain au chocolat. I said it was a croissant, I got it wrong. It's pain au chocolat. Look at this. It's 20 metres high, that pan of chocolat. But even so, it just shows you how big El Cap is. The first route on El Cap, there's a little bit of history here, was the nose. It goes right at the middle. Climb with this guy, Warren Harding, them people. And Warren Harding was an alcoholic. In fact, they were all alcoholics. It took them 6 months to climb it, like a bunch of alcoholics. They were sponsored by a wine company. They were taking bottles of wine up. Can you imagine getting anything done and being sponsored by a wine company? Any big project, oh yeah, how is it going to be gone? I don't know. Anyway, so it took them 6 months. Got to the top, amazing. Amazing kind of leap forward in kind of climbing, really. But the person who's always kind of been a hero of climbing, it's very unusual. It's William Shatner. Because William Shatner is one of the most amazing... the thing about William Shatner, he is so confident. Have you ever noticed? He is so confident. Whatever he does, T.J. Hooker, Star Trek, that's about it really. He is so confident. And when I was a kid, so my name it's got Kirk in it. So when I was a kid, I was called Captain Kirk. Everyone said, call me Captain Kirk at school. And when my son was born, I was going to call him Captain Kirkpatrick Stewart. And anyway, so have you noticed my wellies are on the wrong feet? Anyway, so it's always been a huge, big kind of fan of Star Trek. I was always a big fan of science fiction. And then in 1989, this film came out, Star Trek: The Final Frontier. It's absolutely rubbish. And unfortunately, it was written, directed, and starred William Shatner. But anyway, we'll forgive him that. But at the beginning of this film, this scene where you see this figure kind of climbing up this amazing, overhanging, big wall kind of thing. For some reason, you never see his face to begin with. They're going to these chimneys, and he's kind of doing laybacking and kind of hand jamming. And all of a sudden, you realise it's Captain Kirk. Oh my God, Captain Kirk, he's soloing this amazing kind of mountain. And at this time, we didn't realise he's actually soloing El Capitan. And he's up there kind of enjoying that, because the thing about Captain Kirk, he's a rebel. He shags aliens. They always say Captain Kirk, you can't go to that quadrant 15, and he just goes there. He doesn't really care. He's just in fact, he'd get the sack. Unless he was anyway. So in this our new government, they would sack him straight away. We're not people like you. Anyway, so he'd be too busy shagging an alien anyway. So he's there, he's enjoying it. There's the sound of an eagle, or a crow or something, and I'm not sure what an eagle sounds like. And I'm going to do a seagull. Okay. Anyway, so there's a sound of it, and that makes it's like a maverick, it's like an eagle soaring. He doesn't really care whatever the eagle runs after some alien eagle, and so he's there, and then all of a sudden, Dr. Spock appears. He's kind of how is he there? And he's got rocket boots on. So he's there, and he's saying, Captain Kirk, this is illogical. There is no way you can break the speed record for soloing El Capitan. And he's like, I'm not trying to break the speed record. I'm just having fun. I'm up here. I'm living the dream, dude. I'm climbing it because it's there. Pan to a shot of a little big drop down, little pebble falling down. It's a long way up. Anyway, so he puts his hand onto a handhold, which is obviously plastic, and his hand slips off, and he starts falling. He doesn't look very scared because he's Captain Kirk. He's falling to his death. He's flying down. Spock goes after him. These are rocket boots on, and he's falling. The ground's coming up. This is actually not the ground below the nose. This is the ground below another route. So if you actually climb El Cap, you know these things. You know it's not actually true. Anyway, so he's falling. He puts his hand out to rescue him. That's so you go faster with rocket boots on, and he's almost going to hit the ground. He's almost there. He's going to hit the ground, and Spock saves him. So this is kind of this amazing kind of moment in my life, really, because I never realised it was actually a real kind of mountain, and women with 3 breasts existed. So so when I got to climbing, I realised this thing in this film was a real live piece of rock, and in the film it's got all these kind of glass kind of paintings of El Cap. So there's like something on an alien world. But I found out it was true, so I was always wanted to climb there. And I think the first time I went there was 1994 or something, with this guy, a guy called Paul Tattersall, who's from Wigan, where the pier is. The first thing when you go to America, you're always really disappointed how small the Statue of Liberty is. You always think it's going to be so much more majestic. So we got there, flew there, went to this campsite, Camp 4, and Camp 4 is like one of the most famous campsites in the world. It's full of people who just kind of talk about climbing, don't do any. There's all these kind of Americans kind of like packing whole bags and filling up water bottles and don't do anything. Then they kind of empty it all out and pack everything and go home again. And everybody in Yosemite wants to climb El Cap or fail to climb El Cap. There's not many people in between. But me and Paul, we were so kind of eager. And Paul had climbed the nose of El Cap a few years before, so he was like really experienced. I was completely inexperienced. I've been to a quarry and I kind of aided up some cracks, but that was it. But I was like so into it. That's all you need really in this life, is just to be stupid. So we'd stolen all this gear from people's cars at Crags. So we were well prepared. We thought we were well prepared, but when I look at this now, we were so unprepared for what we were about to do. So there was loads of kind of routes people do on El Cap, but we decided to do this route called the Shield, which goes up kind of the steepest kind of the longest one of the longest routes on the wall, and it is quite hard. It's like A358, which means it's quite hard. And but someone told us it's really easy at the beginning, and by the time we get to halfway up, it gets really, really hard. And then we thought, well, that sounds good for us because we don't know anything what we're doing. So instead of going off and doing 30 routes to learn how to do it, this route's 30 pitches long. So by the time we got to the hard bit, we'd be experts, we thought. So anyway, so we went there and we started climbing, and we're kind of climbing up, and it's just amazing. You're up there like, oh God, living the dream, and you know, there's just this vast expanse of rock, and oh my God, it's so beautiful. The first night there, we made the first mistake. We had no toilet roll, and on a wall like this, there's all this gaffer tape everywhere. They stick it on all the sharp edges so the ropes won't get abraded on it. So we had to use gaffer tape and like peel it off and use that, not the sticky side. And then we stuck it back on again, you know. So kind of safety first, hygiene second. So anyway, so we're carrying on the next day. This is, by the way, this silver thing is a portaledge. So when you're climbing on a big wall, there's no ledges. This is a ledge, it's spoiling that story. Anyway, this is a little ledge. But higher up, there's no ledges. So you have these things called portaledges that you kind of fold out. You take it with you, and you kind of fold it out. And people always say, like, how do you sleep on a portaledge? Like, you must be really, really exhausted, and I mean, it must be really, really terrifying. But you're so exhausted when you're climbing, you just kind of flop onto it and just immediately fall asleep. If you drop anything, if everything falls over the edge, then you kind of lose it. So if you're not... The weird thing is, you know, when you have that thing when you're asleep and you suddenly wake up and you think you're falling, like that. You never have that on the portaledge for some reason. I have no idea. I have no idea why. Anyway, so we're kind of climbing up this wall, and spent this first night on the wall. We had I think we had Porter's Head on. I think Porter's Head were like big in those days. We had Porter's Head on, and we listened to Porter's Head, and all these bats were kind of swimming around, and not swimming, flying around, and kind of like making this weird noise like. And I pretended to Paul that I couldn't hear it, and he thought he could commute with the bats. And anyway, so we keep on going the following day, and we're climbing up, and we get to this bit where we see these guys climbing up behind us, but like really fast. This is our second day on the route, and these guys just climbing super fast. And one of them was this guy, a guy called Steve Schneider, who was famous for soloing El Capitan in a day, like one of the few people ever to do it. And he's kind of a real kind of legend over there. And the art of speed climbing was first developed by these guys who were in a gay jazz band. And John Long, Jim Bridwell, and Billy Westby, and they climbed the nose, which took like 6 months. And people were doing it in about 5 days and did it in 24 hours. Just really, really amazing. One of the great leaps forwards in climbing. Mainly, it's just an act of believing that you can do it that fast. And the other thing, the great thing had been like when this guy, Royal Robbins, with a small child, had soloed El Cap in 11 days. So to solo El Cap in a day, why it's so impressive is, I had to employ a very expensive graphic designer for this picture. So you got your whole bag, and there's your person. You've got to get up there to that next belay. So you start climbing, la 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 la. That green rope is your whole line that you're going to hold your whole bag on, and the red rope is your lead line. And you get up there, and so you get up to that bit, and then you abseil down your green line, back to there. You release your whole bag, it hangs down in space. You climb back up your rope, up to there, la la la, and you hold your whole bag up, and you do it that way. So to solo El Cap in a day, so it's 1,000 meters. You have to climb 1,000 meters. You have to abseil 1,000 meters. You have to Jumar 1,000 meters, and you have to haul 1,000 meters. So it's pretty impressive. You get all these people saying, "Yeah, man, I've done an Ironman." Well, compared to doing this, it's like, you know, unbelievable. Anyway, so we're there, and like Steve Schneider, we're like, "What are you doing, Steve?" He's like, "Oh, we're doing the route you're doing. We're going to do it in 24 hours." Really? Huh? So you think you're a real hard man? You're like, "Yeah, man, we're on the Capitan. I'm living the dream." And this guy just goes like, "What was that?" Anyway, so by the time we'd led one pitch, he was like 5 pitches ahead of us, and by the time we'd finished for the day, he was on the top. So it was a real kind of like, oh my God, this is like really, really amazing. So the first crux of our first kind of climb on the route was this bit. It was like going over a big roof, and this roof had all these bolts in it, and it's a massive kind of looking down. It's a massive kind of looking down, like a huge like 500 meters. Like you're twice as high as Canary Wharf Tower at this point, looking down. And if you're scared of heights, don't go. So you're just kind of hanging on these 3 bolts like drilled in the wall. All your bags and everything else is hanging on there, like and you're belaying poles going across this roof. And I've seen this film where this guy went across the roof. His partner was mad. He's dead now. And he said to his mate, like, he was a Swiss. It's called Xavier Bongard. He's like, Eric, do not clip any of the gear. I will just jump off. And he's like, really? Yeah. So he doesn't clip any gear, so the rope just goes all the way up to the belay. And then he's got Xavier Bongard, he's just crazy. He just like jumps off, takes this massive swing into space, yoo-hoo! And then he died. So I thought, wow, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm like, Paul, don't clip any of the gear. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, don't clip any of the gear. He's like, really? Yeah. Actually, I've changed my mind. Clip the gear. And then I'm like, don't be such a wimp. You're never going to come here again. Just do it. I'm like, oh, actually, don't clip the gear. Okay. Now I've changed my mind. Clip the gear. And he's like, no, I'm not going to clip the gear. It'd be quicker anyway if you don't clip the gear. So he goes across this roof. He unclips it. Every time he clips into something, and he unclips it, and he goes across. It disappears, and the rope just goes. I didn't realise it actually was really steep beyond this. So the rope's going out and out. And then you hear this kind of, okay, I'm at the belay. Release the whole bags. So I like unclip these big whole bags, and the whole bags just go, and they just disappear like. I can't even see them anymore. I'm like, oh my God. So it's like, okay, Andy, the rope's fixed, you can come up. So I get me Jumars for climbing the rope, and I get the rope so tight, like, and the rope's kind of like, ding. It's like, and the tighter it is, the thinner it gets as well. Like, oh God, it looks really thin now. So it's like so tight, like, but now I'm kind of like, I'm clipped into these bolts, these carabiners. I'm in this kind of V-shaped thing. So I'm kind of like, I can't unclip now, and get tighter. So I managed to get one unclipped, like, and I can't get the other one clipped, like, what are you doing? Let me quicker. Yeah, I'm coming. You get like one little bit off, like, put your finger through bolt hangers. I start flying, just like free fall. You never want to be going free fall, I reckon, when you're climbing. So I'm going free fall. Every bit of my body is closed as tight as possible. You know, I'm flying. And all of a sudden you feel the ropes like going tight. Oh, thank God for that. I'm flying out. And then I open one eye, and all I see is the whole bags coming straight towards me. So I kind of smash into the whole bags and go spinning around, and all of a sudden everyone was like, woo, way to go, dude. Everyone can see you. Wherever it's like a big theatre. Woo, you're living the dream, dude. I'm like, it's a fucking nightmare. So I'm like hanging there, eventually stop. But you just like literally, there's something about when you hang on the rope, but the rock's there, it's not so bad. But when you're just hanging in space, like, it's like being like Die Hard. You just imagine like, it's gonna go. And when you start Jumaring, there's so much rope stretch that you start doing this whole thing where you go like, anyway. And Paul had unclipped every bit of gear, apart from this one bit of gear, right next to this really sharp edge. So the rope went right over this sharp edge. So all I could hear was this kind of like, all this like bits of fare coming down. Anyway, never get these things. So we got over this roof. We got on this big barrel-shaped buttress thing. Got the portal edge up. Spent the night there. And then in the morning, we kind of woke up and everything was kind of flapping around. And we looked out, and there was this big kind of like cloud thing coming into the valley, and everything was really, really windy. And we put the radio on. It was like, "Hi, this is the Hawk. So rocking it rocks." It's amazing when you're on a big wall. Music sounds amazing. You listen to Wings, and you go, "Oh my God, I didn't realise what a great band Wings was." The band the Beatles could have been. So anyway, so this is like, watch out, anybody in the valley area, the tail end of Hurricane Bastard is coming your way. So Paul's like, quick, Andy, let's get out of here. But the equivalent of getting out of here when you're raid climbing, it's the slowest form of climbing known to man. It's equivalent, like a horror film where someone's chasing you with a chainsaw, and you're running away, It's like that, but you're doing parquet flooring at the same time, like, So I tried to get away, and I'm climbing up, and it's a long way down. You're like really intimidated. You're kind of climbing up, and we decided we won't place any pegs. I'm a very ambitious person. I didn't realise I was until I looked back, really. And I was so ambitious. Although I'd never climbed a big wall in my life, I thought we'd do it without any pegs. It'd only been climbed once without any pegs by the guy who died, the Xavier Bongard guy. And so I was kind of following his footsteps, and hopefully not all the way. So anyway, so I was like, right, I'll do it without any pegs. Do it without any pegs, Paul. Do it without any pegs. We haven't even really got any pegs, so it won't be that hard. So I'm climbing it without any pegs, and it meant that because we didn't have much gear with us, we didn't have a very big rack of gear. If you ever put anything really good in, you have to take it out again because you might need it higher up. So you put some that's really bomb. Oh yeah, you get on it like that. You get another bit of gear in. Oh God, that's really shit. You get on it. Take a good bit out. It's the most terrifying thing in the world, that aid climb. If you don't know what you're doing, it's the most terrifying thing. Do you know when someone goes like, when you're looking over a big drop and they go, "Tell me whether I saved your life." It's like that, but it lasts for like 5 days. That exact feeling. So it's then you climb like, good bit of gear, take it out, good bit of gear, take it out, good bit, bad bit of gear, leave that in. You climb up, and I'm a long way up above the belay. and I see this big bit of wire sticking out. Oh, there's a bit of wire up there. Looks really new, get that. So I reach up and clip it and stand on like, get up on like this and take the good bit of gear out. And so I look around for the next bit of gear. And I feel the most horrendous feeling because this wire is kind of swaged together. And I feel the swaging coming apart and the wire's going, You can tell what happened next. And they just go, ding, and I start falling. And I've got so much gear attached to me that I go head first immediately. And I'm flying head first off El Cap. And I distinctly remember what I thought. I had a long time, I had long enough to think of a long thought. And it was like, I'm falling off a big wall. It's like, I'm falling off a big wall. It's like, kind of like, do you know, like in America, like dude, can mean those things like dude, and dude, dude, and dude, and dude, and dude. Anyway, so falling off a big wall means lots of things like, I'm falling off a big wall, I'm falling off a big wall. So I'm falling off a big wall, and I'm flying down, and I'm falling for seems like a very, very long time. I've never really fallen off anything in my life. So I'm flying down, and then I open my eyes, I've fallen so far, I was like, oh, I better open my eyes. It's been a long time. So I open my eyes, and I can see the portal edge coming towards me, and Paul is laid on it, and he's not got his hands, he's not holding onto the rope, and he's got his eyes closed. So, but all of a sudden the rope stopped. The rope started like taking the weight, and then as it did, like Paul went shooting up in the air, and he got all tangled up in all the portal edge rigging and everything else. And I kind of stop, and I stop about, because it's overhanging, I stop at like 5 or 10 feet out in space, like this. And I go, are you all right? You all right? He's like, yeah, you're right, you're right. Yeah, I'm all right. Pass me the fucking pegs. So, anyway, so we finished this route, and every single pitch was so challenging because we didn't know what we were doing. We made so many mistakes, dropped things and everything else. And this is the very, very last pitch. And we were so relieved to get to the top. It was just this amazing experience. I'm so jealous of people who've never climbed El Cap because, you know, it's all there to be done. That first time is always the best time. I think I've climbed El Cap 18 times, but that was the best time. And anyway, so this photograph kind of sums up how you feel when you climb El Cap. You were utterly knackered. And we actually went off after this. One day afterwards, after this photograph was taken, we went back up El Cap with a guy, and we guided him for $500. It's illegal to guide in Yosemite. And I just want to show you what this guy, Paul Tattersall, is really like, a criminal, because he kind of led me astray on this. I was just going along to help haul and everything else. But there's one bit where we're high on the Salathe wall, and this guy who we were guiding had never slept outside in his life. And he didn't know anything, he didn't know what to do, it was awful. And I said to him, like, Paul, if this guy gets injured, we're going to go to prison. What are we going to do? And he went, we'll just have to kill him. So anyway, so I went back to Yosemite loads of times after that. Like, I think that time we climbed El Cap maybe 3 or 4 times, can't remember now. And every year I went back, and every time I went back I had to do something much, much harder. So I went back the following year with someone who was a much better climber than me, and we did 2 really hard routes. And then the following year, and then I was thinking, well, maybe when did those routes which were hard because this guy was better than me. So I went back and did a route which was harder, but I did it by myself. And kind of sold this route, really amazing, like 8 days or something on this wall, really, really incredible, completely out of my depth again. I think being out of your depth is really, really good actually, you know, unless you drown. So anyway, so after being for like quite a few years, the thing I still wanted to do was to climb El Cap in a day. That was a thing was still yet to be done. And so one of you was out there and I met this guy, a guy called Matt Dickinson, who is probably the most physical person I've ever met in my life. He's like a big muscle, really, and with some bones in it. Like if you had a child, you'd never let him near it because it's, you know, if you had a baby, you come back and its head would have fallen off. And he's like, what happened, Matt? I just went to stroke it. And like if you had an iPhone, you're like, oh Matt, can you just look at my iPhone? Let me have a go. And just go, his finger goes straight through it. So he was famous for a few things. I kind of knew about him. Like he'd gone to solo the North Face Eiger. And he'd fallen off, he'd broken his leg. He had no insurance. So he crawled down the mountain and got back to the airport and flew back to Leeds and went to the hospital in Leeds. It's also soloed the Benatti Pillar on the Drew, which is really, really impressive. And you imagine someone like that would be really technically competent because he'd have to climb up and abseil down and Jumar up. And it turned out he wasn't very technically competent. I found out later on. And I was like, well, Matt, when you soloed the Benatti Pillar, how did you climb up the ropes? He went, with my hands. So anyway, so very kind of interesting guy. So he was out there to solo the nose, and the weather was really bad. It was like bad weather, just like the whole time. And I was out there with 2 other people, and we meant to do another route, but we weren't doing it. And we had like 3 ropes attached up to some haul bags, all our gear in it, but we were sat in the campsite. And there was one good day's weather forecast the following day, and then it was going to be bad, like a big storm, a big winter storm was coming. So I was like so desperate. I was like, Matt, like we don't even know each other, but do you want to go and climb El Cap in a day with me? And he's like, yeah, that'd be really good. So most people climb El Cap in a day by going up the nose, which goes up here. And it's a bit like doing like, it's like doing an Ironman or a triathlon or something. You have to be really, really fit. You have to be really, really motivated, climbing for 24 hours non-stop generally. A lot of people fail several times, then go back and do it. So that's what most people do, but I didn't want to do that. It seemed like too easy. So I went to a route called Tangerine Trip, which is like one of the steepest, if not the steepest route on El Cap, and it goes up there. So it's 1,900 feet, and it's kind of got some tricky bits on it. So I was like, Matt, we're going to do this route, Tangerine Trip. Does that sound good? Yeah. I could have said, let's go and have anal sex. He had no idea what I was talking about, really. So all he knew about was the nose, really. So we decided to go back. So we went to the campsite. Right, we'll set off at midnight tonight, which was a bad idea because we were all a bit knackered already. So we went back, got the whole bag out and putting stuff in, and we should take a portal edge, but I think, well, we won't take a portal edge because if we take a portal edge, we'll end up using it. We'll be weak. I really hate people smoke when they climb, so it's like a manifestation of their weakness, I always think. Anyway, so I never take it. So we won't take a portal edge. That'll be a manifestation of my weakness because I'll actually sleep in it. So we'll just take a string hammock. We've got this wooden belay seat, wooden piece of wood we sit on. We'll take that. We'll take one sleeping bag, one bivy bag. Where's all your storm gear, Matt? Where's the waterproofs? And he goes, it's got like a red fleece on. He goes, I don't need any. I'm like, Matt, you need it. Like, if you're on the El Cap, there's a big storm. People die of hypothermia. People are literally encased in ice on El Cap. You will die. And he's like, no, I've got really good circulation. I'm like, no, Matt, honestly, Matt, like you will die, Matt. You need some. Have you not brought any waterproofs with you to Yosemite? No, I've got really good circulation. So I've got all these clothes. I put all these extra clothes in for him. I'm like, have you got any food, Matt? He goes, yeah. So he puts his bag of food in. So okay, right then, let's set off. So we go off, and this next photograph kind of sums up how stupid it was. It's really out of focus, but that face kind of sums up how ridiculous it was. So it's about 11 o'clock at night, and we packed these whole bags on. Matt had some socks on, I think, and this is fleece, red fleece, and we set off. We went to the bottom of the wall, and I said, before we get there, I was like, Matt, show us your head touch, and he got this head touch out. Do you know when you go to a garage and they have like those head touches? They're from like Latvia or somewhere. And they're kind of called extra bright head torch with an E at the end of torch. Anyways, that was what Matt's head torch was like. It's like, oh, Matt, you can't use that, Matt. That's a really crap head torch. He said, I've been using it all year in Alaska. I'm like, Matt, it's like 24-hour daylight in Alaska. And he's like, no, it's really, really good. And Matt loves to wear, I don't know, he's a guide now. He's probably like a bloody amazing guide, but he loved to wear really horrendous, inappropriate equipment and clothing. He had an ice axe, which was, everyone's got these really fancy curved ice axes. His was like a 75 centimetre walking axe. And he was doing these really hard routes. Oh, it's really good because you can reach much higher, And he would wear like jeans, he'd be climbing the North of Eiger in jeans. He had this fleece that he got off a dead Latvian on some mountain somewhere. He had a helmet with I've climbed Ben Nevis on it. So there was something about him, but it was like, he's such an amazing kind of character that you kind of forgive him. But anyway, so I'm the complete opposite. I have to have everything has to be right because I'm crap and he's amazing. So he can get away with it, I can't. So we go to the bottom, like, Matt, basically, what I haven't got, I've only got my shorts on, and I've got some Gore-Tex trousers, but I haven't got any socks, I need some trousers, I haven't got any gloves, I haven't got a balaclava, and we haven't got a cheetah stick. We need a cheetah stick to get down if something goes wrong. So I'll start soloing the first pitch. You go along there, there's 3 ropes tied together. Do you rope them in the dark and just get these bits for me, and then by the time I finish this, you'll abseil down, you'll join us, and it'll be really good. Matt, you listen to me? Yeah. Anyway, so I climb up, and I get to the top of the, solo the first pitch, and like, Matt, where are you? And he's not there. Shit, where is he? Maybe he's like, did I even check he could humor? And then all of a sudden the hero's kind of thrashing and crashing and trees falling over. I'm like, Matt, is that you? Like, yeah. What are you doing? Oh, my head touch stopped working. I couldn't see anything up there, and then I'm trying to see if I can find a cheetah stick. I'm like, well, what are you going to do? Like, bring a whole tree up with you? Like, don't worry about it. So really, I should have said like, right, Matt, I'm coming down. We haven't got a cheetah stick. I haven't got any socks or trousers or anything. It's not going to happen, is it? But I was so desperate. We've only got one good day's weather tomorrow. We've got to do it. So we started climbing, and so Matt Jumar's up. I'm climbing along. And the system for soloing, a little technical bit here, is basically you climb to the end of the rope, you climb to the belay, la la la. So you've got a 60-metre rope, and the belay is maybe 40 metres away. You get to these 2 bolts, you pull up all the slack, you tie a knot, you clip it into the bolt, and then you've got this big loop of rope that's left behind, and you start soloing the next bit. And by the time Matt's like Jumar'd up, I've run out of rope, and then he puts me on belay, and then he gives me the rope. So it means that basically you never see the other person. So if you don't get on with each other, it's like the most amazing climbing system. So that's what we're doing. We're climbing up. There was this one bit where I was like, Matt, at this bit, you have to be really careful. 3 people have died on this one pitch. Because when they were jumaring, when they were seconding, you have to jumar downwards, and what happens is the jumars pop off. So you have to stay tied in. You have to stay tied in the whole time. Matt, you listen to me. Yeah. So I'm climbing above the roof, and he's under the roof, and I hear this kind of, and I look down underneath the roof, and Matt has kind of got one jumar off, just hanging by one jumar, and he's kind of spinning in space, trying to get the other one on. And as he spins around, he isn't tied into the rope. He's got a single carabiner on his harness, and the rope goes through it. And about 20 meters below it, he's tied a massive knot in the rope. He's like, it's my own system. So, oh God, so you keep climbing. And I was like, Matt, on this traverse, it's really hard to get the gear out. So what you have to do, you have to jumar up, take the jumar off, pass the piece of gear. As you wait at the top jumar, the bottom of jumar will bang against the piece of gear. So hold the rope beneath the jumar, and release the trigger on this one, and he'll slowly lower it out, and then you can reach back and do the gear. And Matt, are you listening to me? Yeah. So basically, then look back, and he's just got feet on either side of the gear, going like, and then eventually it would just like rip out, and it'd be broken. So, and things like, we had 2 of every bit of gear, and I was like, I get to this bit like, Matt, send me up all the pegs. What pegs? The pegs I've been putting in. I didn't even put any pegs in. Can you not hear me putting them in? No. So we had no pegs. So anyway, it got about 10 o'clock at night. I was absolutely knackered. So I did all the leading. I was absolutely knackered. And then I fell off, and I decided, oh, this is really bad. And I suddenly felt amazingly committed. We couldn't get back down at this point. So I kind of went back to the belay, like, Matt, we're gonna have to sleep here. So Matt got the string hammock, and I had the belay seat, and we're kind of sitting like this, like, oh God, like. And for some reason, he had a lot of clothes on for a man who had a very good circulation. He had all my clothes on. So I'm like, oh, Matt, get the food out. We've not had anything to eat all day. And he was kind of set off without having any tea either. So he gets his bag out, and I think, what on earth could be so nutritious that could fit in such a small bag? And like, we argue about this point. But anyway, out comes a glass jar of salsa, and that's all there was. And he reckons it was a plastic jar, but whatever it was a jar of salsa. I'm like, Matt, is that all there is? He went, there was some chocolate as well. Where is it? I've been eating it. So open this glass jar of salsa, like glug, glug, glug. There you go, Matt, there you go, here's the drink. Put it in the whole bag. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, don't worry, Matt, tomorrow we'll get to the top. Because like, when I soloed El Cap, I did the last 4 pitches, and they're really, really easy. They're like 5-7. You can do them with your hands in your pockets. It'd be totally easy. Don't worry about it, Matt. So we get up in the morning, we start climbing, and the weather's really bad. There's all this cloud, and it's big, massive, scary. There's all these people shouting, get down, there's a storm coming. It's like, we know, we can't. And there's all these people abseiling off all the routes, and this big storm's coming in. And our mates that went to the bottom and got these binoculars and like looking up at us, like everybody else is abseiling down. There's these 2 fools climbing up, and these people are like, oh my God, look at those Russian guys! Oh my God! And we're like, we're not Russian. Anyway, so we're climbing up, trying as best as we can. But like, it gets like really, really, really steep and really, really tired. Like, you can't sleep very well sitting on a piece of wood. And it's quite easy, you know, when you sit on a park, you're only there for like 5 minutes. It's all right. But when you spend all night on one, it's really, really uncomfortable. So this is the belay seat. Matt's sitting in it here. So Matt like sending some gear up to me at this point. And so we're climbing up. To show how steep it is, that's the whole bag, way in the distance, hanging under the rope. So anyways, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse, steeper and steeper, and more tired, climbing up. And it gets dark again. It's like, Matt, we're gonna have to sleep. We're gonna have to do another night like sleeping on here. And so he kind of climbs up to me, and it'd been like a weird actually, because one thing had happened. You have to do some free climbing on these giant like Weetabix, and you think, bloody hell, how come this Weetabix hasn't pulled off the mountain before? And you go, ah! Put it back on again. And then the sole of my shoe fell off for some reason. It just spontaneously fell off, and all I had was kind of plastic midsole of the shoe. So you're like going, Anyway, so we have to sleep again. So we get the string hammock out, and he sits above me, and I sit below him, and I'm so wasted. I have another drink of salsa, and just kind of sitting there, and all day I've had this. It's like like a circle of pain. It wasn't even a circle of pain, it was a dot of pain, because there wasn't really like a good bit and a bad bit. It was just all bad, the whole thing. And you felt like, this is never gonna end. Like, I really love deferred gratification. I think that's one of the most amazing things about climbing. The further you can put yourself away from what you really want, the better it is when you get it. And like by being alive. But this was just never ending, it seemed. And so I had this pressure all the time. We've got to get to the top, This is like really, really horrendous. And slowly I could feel this pressure building up into my head. And I realized it wasn't real pressure. It was real pressure. It was Matt's arse. And the string hammock had been stretching until my head was kind of pressed against the rock. And he had this guy's arse on my face. And the whole night I was like, Matt, wake up, Matt. But he was like absolutely comatose. And so I was like, this is good. So anyway, so following day we kind of got up, and by now the winter storm arrived, and it was just like hellacious, really. Snow was pouring down. There was kind of waterfalls just coming off the top of El Cap, and really, if you had the portaledge, like they went to the Mount Rescue and said, "Oh, our mates are on El Cap, and the storm's coming." And they're like, "Don't worry, they'll be fine in a portaledge," and they haven't got a portaledge. And but they basically can't rescue you until the storm stops. By then, you're like, anyway, so or like someone's asking you. Anyway, so what were they doing? Anyway, so we're climbing, and as it gets less steep, all the snow started hitting us and the water and stuff. And poor Matty, we ended up like belaying in like literally in a waterfall. And now he had every bit of clothing on. And he had like a sling through Carabiner. He was like going, "One man went to Mo, one meadow." And I was like trying to climb as fast as I could. Every time you put your hands up, all the water would go down your sleeves and go through all your clothes and out you know. So I was like climbing up, getting like kind of higher and higher and higher. This is the whole bag now. It's like completely frozen and a big block of ice. All the ropes are freezing up. We had to get to the top before it got dark. Otherwise, we weren't going to get to the top. And so I get to this ledge and I hold the whole bag up and I'm looking at the rope, like dancing around. I've got no socks on. I'm standing in snow, like up to my ankles. Like no shoes on, but luckily, thanks Dad. When my dad when I was a kid, my dad made us go climbing through all these horrible gullies in North Wales. You know, where there'd be like broken helmets and bits of flask dead sheep and things like that. So it was like amazing training. You know, like a slimy V-diff. That's all you need to do in life, really, to climb anything harder. Same kind of mentality. I will get up there somehow. So anyway, so I'm stood there and I see the rope like moving as Matt's jumping up, and all of a sudden the rope just goes like wagga 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 wagga, and I look down and Matt's not there. The first thing I think is, shit, he's got the clothes on. So, and what happened, like, he was jumaring up, and the rope, the jumas got like loads of ice in them, and they just didn't grip on the rope, and he went flying down the rope. But luckily, after a while, he warmed up again, and he kind of locked him on. And I think after that, he started tying into the rope as well. So, anyway, we get to this ledge, and we're like one pitch from the top, and Matt gets to the ledge. He's like, "Andy, give me your clothes. I'm dying by hypothermia." I'm like, "I haven't got any clothes to give you. Haven't your clothes? I'm dying by hypothermia as well." And we're like, "Look, we just have to get to the top. Look." And we had this one last little bit to climb. And if this was in winter with ice axe and crampons, it'd probably be quite tricky. But with trainers on and bare hands, it was even worse. But Matt's a really good climber. He climbs like E7, so he kind of goes up and he kind of slips and slides and manages to get up this first bit. And the last bit is literally a bike path. It's just so easy. It's just like an easy slab I don't even remember climbing it. It's just like blah blah blah. That's it. So Matt disappears above there, and he's like, "It's impossible. We can't get out. This is the last bit." So I'm like, "Come down. I've done a V-diff in the rain. Come on, come down." So I go up there, and it is this kind of slab, and the slab is all kind of covered in snow. And I'm like looking around, oh my God. But these are the moments I live for. These are the most amazing moments, because no one's going to rescue you. If you don't get up it, it's like you're in serious shit, really. No, you are going to die of hypothermia. And maybe you could, both of us maybe could have flitted in one sleeping bag, but it would have been worse than death, probably. So I'm kind of like, oh my God. So I had this sky hook. So I got this sky hook, like this hook that you hook on little edges when you're climbing sometimes. I start scraping it through all this snow, then it kind of like, ding, kind of sticks on something. Oh God, what's that? Don't look at it. So I clip into it and I stand on it. On this sling. There's a little kind of like dishy thing. So remember like North Wales climbing, and I kind of like, I get on that and I kind of stand up like that. And above me was like a little twig, like a bit higher up. So I got my rope, I was like trying to throw the rope up, but the rope was so heavy, it's all frozen, like I was coming down, like, missing. And I was like, I got loads of it. Through it, and because of crap, it went over there, and then but it kind of like didn't come back down again. It was stuck on something. So I was like, oh God, it's stuck on something. Oh shit, I'm gonna have to trust it. So I pulled on the rope. I got both the strands of rope and held onto it. I started pulling up the rope. But the worst thing was, the rope was coming towards me, slightly less faster than I was going towards where it was going on. So I was pulling up, and I got to the top, and it was like a big kind of, like, you know, a big bit of rock that was kind of pulling towards the edge. So I've done it. I got to the top. There's this crack, and I put loads of gear in this crack, and I get the rope, but the rope now is like so stiff I can't hardly tie a knot into it. So I kind of tie this knot that's like this big, just clip it into everything like that. I'm like, okay, Matt. So I'm like, trying to do like a body belay, but the rope's like, So Matt starts climbing up, and he's just on the middle of the slab, and then he slips. And I tried to lock the rope off, but there's so much like slack in the system, I get kind of pulled off the belay. I end up kind of hanging over the edge of this belay, and the rope's like going, and Matt's going, towards the edge. And he just stopped before he went over the edge, like something like his foot or something. And he's doing the Italian job where it's like, don't worry, mate, I got an idea. So anyway, so he managed to climb up, and it's just about to get dark. It just gets pitch black dark, and we're like, oh my God, we've got to get down off here. But the problem was, this is a really good photograph to show you how we get off El Cap. So this is where we just climbed up here. This guy's dead. Just up here. And basically, this is a huge area of catchment for water. All the water's pouring down, waterfalls, everything. And you have to climb down here, down these slabs. If you slip, you can't fall. So you have to go all the way down here, and abseil down. So it's really, really scary, basically. In the summer, when you go down in the summer, you're always like, oh, really careful not to get any grit on your shoes, you might slip. But now we had like waterfalls or snow to kind of walk down. I was like, right then, Matt, we'll just stay tight together. And we'll go down and we'll get to this Horsetail Falls, this big waterfall that goes off the edge of El Cap. And we'll cross that, and then we'll just go down here and we'll stay, we'll abseil down instead of walking down, and we'll be all right. So we set off walking. And I go, right, we'll walk down these big waterfall things, because there'll be more grip where the waterfalls are, where the snow is. So we walk along, and I take one step and slip and start flying down. And you always think like, roll left, roll away from the edge of El Cap. And so I started trying to roll in one direction. It was quite hard when you've got a big hole bag on your back. So, and then all of a sudden, luckily, I hit this tree stump. There's a big tree stump, and I hit it, and I thought, that's exactly what it must feel like when you break your pelvis. And then Matt kind of landed on top of me. Matt weighs about 500 kilos, so he landed on top of me. So, but luckily, there was all these kind of manzanita bushes, which are like barbed wire. But we didn't feel any pain now, so we just started like crawling through the barbed wire. And then we got to Horsetail Falls, this waterfall. Right, we'll head down the edge of this waterfall, then we'll cross over, and we'll start getting towards the abseils. So we're like climbing down, and there's this big kind of drop off into like loads of leaves and stuff. So all right, Matt, I'll just bum slide down. So I start bum sliding down. Halfway down, I realise it's not leaves. It's actually a plunge pool, and it's frozen around the edge of it. But so anyway, I hit the ice and I go completely under the water. And I'm underwater, and because I've been soaking wet for about 2 days, but I was like really warm still because I was kind of moving. I was underwater. I thought, I'm completely warm. It's amazing. And then all the water kind of rushed into every particle of my body, this ice cold water. And Matt said he was looking over the edge, and I disappeared. My head touched, disappeared under the water. And he's like looking around, and I just kind of walked out the other side. And la 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 la. But I was like so stunned I couldn't even breathe. So anyway, so we get to the abseils eventually. We get to these abseils. It's like. And that one rope was completely, couldn't use it, so frozen. I'm like, oh, Matt, it's like, we've got to go on here, it's like about 90 metres, like, we'll have to do like 30-metre abseils with one of our ropes. And Matt's like, look, there's loads of ropes hanging over the edge, we'll just abseil one of these ropes. I'm like, no, Matt, we don't know where they go, they might be really old, we'll use my rope. I said, no, honestly, it'll be fine. So he picks this rope up, and he puts it into his belay device, and he kind of steps over the edge like this, and he looks down, and the end of the rope was like here. So, anyway, so we abseil down, and we get down to the car park, and for some reason we imagined that all our friends would be there with like soup and blankets and, oh my God, he's still alive. But there were Brits, they'd be like, oh, they're dead already, So let's go to bed. So there was nobody there. So we just kind of got there like, this car park with like snow in it. So we threw all our gear into the bushes, and we just walked 4 miles back to the campsite. And the only way we could do it was we had to lean against each other like this, keep the white line of the road between us. Kind of 4 o'clock in the morning, kind of walking along. We hadn't really slept for 4 days. We had like half a jar of salsa in 3 days. So we weren't in a fit state. So we got back to the campsite really early in the morning. The dawn was just about to come up. So Matt's girlfriend was there. She'd been like waiting for him in his tent, and so Matt takes all his clothes off, and he crawls into this tent, and they hear this kind of this poor woman, this like kind of shivering bear creature thing is crawling into her, and last thing you heard before I got to head was kind of like, oh darling, be quiet, I've had the most terrible experience. Anyway, so that was the end of my first attempt at one-day ascent of El Cap. So we're going to have a quick break, and I'm going to tell you a few more, and maybe I might even get to the top. I'm going to leave you in the hands of William Shatner, though, so he'll clear the room and he'll buy lots of beer. So I'll see you in 20 minutes. Thanks a lot. So I'd failed to climb El Cap in a day. It took me 3 days. I was so rubbish that I decided really the future lay in like doing things slower rather than faster. Because everyone's like all about, oh, let's do everything fast, let's go really fast. Well, what's the point really? Let's go really, really slow, I reckon. Because also, I don't actually look like a climber, do I? Like when you turn up for things, when you like turn up like somewhere and like you're supposed to be speaking to people about climbing, people just go, oh, you're Andy Kirkpatrick, all right. I thought you looked different, as in, I thought I looked thin. And but But really, we have this kind of idealised view of what someone's going to be like, like a climber or an athlete or anything, is generally they've got to be fit. But I believe in a kind of bin man fit. That's what I believe in. Because most of kind of stuff I do involves carrying stuff from A to B and then not climbing because the weather's crap. So if you like, so kind of bin man kind of thing. They're never really fast bin man, are they? But they always get it done. Anyway, so I decided to go like bin man kind of style. So I went and climbed the Ascent wall, which was at the time, people say it was like the hardest kind of big wall. I basically had a bit of mental breakdown, and it was expressed on this climb. But it took 11 days by yourself. It's really amazing. Like the last time I've been that long by myself was when I was in my mother's womb. So it's kind of very kind of strange kind of experience. So anyway, so I did that. And then I didn't go back to Yosemite for a long time. I kind of was like, oh God, I've had enough of Yosemite. But I thought that, but really, I just love Yosemite. Like it's like, if you imagine it as like a relationship with something, if you have a relationship with most mountains, it's like stalking, basically. You go to Patagonia and you want to climb this mountain and you go again and again and again, you spend so much money, so much time, and you get fuck all out of it, basically. So you end up being like a stalker. And you know what happens with stalking? You either go to prison or you cop off with the person you're stalking. So, but for men, it's very easy to stalk. For women, the only I've been stalked mainly by gay men, and I'm very homophobic, I'm very homoerotic, and homophobic, which is quite a difficult kind of thing to juggle. Anyway, so I didn't go back to Yosemite for many years, and for some reason I don't enjoy having fun. I think I'll have fun when I'm old. This is time for doing horrible things I don't want to do. And so I eventually did go back, and the rest of this evening is about one route, and it's a route called Zodiac, and it was put up by this guy, Charlie Porter. It goes up there. The reason it's called Zodiac is when he first did it, he soloed it, this guy, and he was climbing up and he was abseiling down and fixing his ropes and getting higher and higher. We had to commit to just going off by himself. I think it took him maybe 7 days to climb this wall. Really futuristic, this climb. And every time he abseiled down, after attempting it, the Zodiac killer, a serial killer, had murdered somebody else. So he called it Zodiac. And when you go there's all these hippies in America, people doing yoga, all that shit. So you basically go there, there's all these people going like, hey man, look up there, that's Zodiac, that's called Zodiac. You can see the sign of the Zodiac in that manzanita bush and all that kind of stuff. It's like, no, it's not. It's named after a serial killer. So, anyway, so all the routes, it's all about one route now. And strangely enough, the Zodiac, the Shield, and Zodiac, Shield, and Tangerine Trip were all climbed by the same guy, so there's something going on. This is my girlfriend, Karen Dark. I taught recently in a school. It's horrendous, like in St Albans. I've only ever done two really bad talks where the kids are really bad. One was in a youth club in Skye, and the other one was this one in St Albans, and the kids were like totally unruly, saying things like, sir, do you have a wank on a big wall? Things like that. And So I know, but so I was like, trying to control them, and this photograph came up. So this is my girlfriend. And I went, way, sir, way. I was like, yeah, she's dead. So anyway, her mum and dad came to the talk I did last night, so they were quite shocked when I said that. And but she's not dead. I just said it. Anyway, so Karen used to be a climber, as I say, not very good, fell off, ended up in a wheelchair, and didn't really stop her, didn't do loads of things, canoed the inside passage, you're not sure what that is, it sounds quite rude, and wherever it was, it took about 3 months, and handbiked over the Himalayas. If you ever get a chance to go on a handbike, it's the most horrendous thing in the world. Your legs are quite big, if you're a bin man, they're even bigger, and but your arms aren't that big, so you think, oh, it's quite easy, this is quite easy, and then within about, and like you get these people like in Guantanamo Bay, they use them to torture people. They like put them on this bike. Okay, I'm going down the runway. I will tell you anything, please. Water torture me instead. And anyway, so she went over the Himalayas on these bikes, did all sorts of stuff like that. And when I met her in Greenland. Greenland's a bit like Hull. It's very flat. There's nothing there. When you've been to Greenland, you don't really care about it melting because there's nothing there really. It's just ice. And anyway, so Karen skied across Greenland. I went with her. I'd never skied in my life. The first time I clipped my boots onto my skis was when we arrived in Greenland on the ice. I didn't tell anybody this, but people are impressed. The man from Hull skied across Greenland, never skied in his life. Just because she can't walk, people think it's amazing. She was sitting down the whole way. It wasn't that hard for her. So One of the big problems we had, we didn't have a rifle, so we were really worried that a polar bear might come. And if you haven't got a rifle, it's quite scary. Karen had a rape alarm, so that was going to work. But I said, like, it's got to be a very loud noise already when I'm screaming, you know. So don't worry about the rape alarm. I also thought it would be okay because I'd be a lot faster than her, because she's like, you know, she's disabled. But she's actually faster than me. She's really, really strong. So, and I had never skied in my life, so it would have been a race in the end. And probably she might have been knocked over by accident. Anyway. So we got to the end of Greenland. We crossed Greenland. It took like a month, 450 miles or something. Got to the other side, and what are you going to do next? It drives me mad. You know, you're swimming across the Atlantic, 3 months, get to the side, get on the beach. Some reporters there. What are you going to do next? What are you going to do next? I said, fuck's sake, I've only just done this. Just leave me alone. The only people who that never happened to was on the moon landing. You know, when they landed in the capsule after landing on the moon, they're in the sea. The diver swims over, opens the capsule. Well done, lads. What are you going to do next? You know, they were like, we're going to prove it really happened. Anyway, so the idea was what we're going to do next. It was like, right, we'll go and climb El Cap. That's the thing to do. Because originally, when she said, do you want to go to Greenland with me? I was like, don't go to Greenland, it's rubbish. Go climb El Cap, it's much, much easier. Like other people and disabled people have climbed it, that's the way forward. So she didn't believe me, turned out she was right anyway. She had actually been there. This was when she was 10 years old. She had her accident when she was 21. So 10 years old, this is her dad with a perm. And mum and dad were teachers, had actually been to Yosemite. So she'd seen El Cap, she kind of knew what it was. So it kind of helped. And she was a really good climber. She climbed like the Matterhorn, and she's a really good climber. And she would have died if she hadn't had her accident, because she was one of those kind of dangerous climbers. Anyway, so she knew all about it. So we had to do some training first. We had to kind of learn how to do it. We didn't do a lot of training. She climbed up a tree. She climbed up a climbing wall. She went up the Old Manor Store, and then we went to Yosemite. We didn't really work anything else out, like sleeping on a big wall, getting to the big wall, getting off the big wall, going to the toilet on the big wall, eating on the big wall. We just basically she could climb up a rope, and that was it. So anyway, we flew out to Yosemite, and we kind of got there. And as soon as she got there, she saw the size of this thing, and El Cap had been climbed already by this kind of gay porn star kind of American guy. And he's not a gay porn star, but he looks like one. He's just got this, he's like giant arms with a big mustache. You know, if you imagine it, you'd be like some sort of really bad, dodgy VHS copy of him on a boulder in a wheelchair with like kind of really purpley kind of image of him with a guitar going, and be like, the Wells, it's called Mark Wellman, the Wells climbs El Capitan, sweaty, bits of, you know, how you feeling, Wells? Come get some, I'm not gay. Anyway, so it took him 11 days, and he climbed El Cap, got to the top, really, really amazing. He was a huge celebrity in America. He lit the Olympic torch, and like in the Olympic Games in LA, like Jumad up, set fire to himself as well, but yeah, he couldn't feel it. He had like some special things. Anyway, so really, really famous. Karen went over to America, and she actually met him, and now he's kind of like a bit kind of like, and she's like, oh, I want to climb the El Cap. I want to be like one of the first women to climb El Cap. Well, she didn't want to climb El Cap, really. I want to climb El Cap, and he's like, you need to lose weight and go to the gym. Anyway, so that was the worst thing you could ever say to a woman. So she's like, right, you bastard, you gay bastard, and I'm not gay. Anyway, so so we got there, and the first thing we realised when we arrived there was it was going to be too hard for just me and Karen to do it. So I'd soloed El Cap twice now, and the idea was I was going to solo it with her, and so I would like kind of solo it abseil down, and then she would Jumar up the rope, and I would like take the gear out, then I would haul the whole bag up. It'd be like soloing but with your girlfriend, that kind of thing. And so that was the whole idea. But then I realised that she'd be sat there, she'd be really scared. She told the mum and dad she was going on a beach holiday, really, because your child almost dies climbing. You know, mum and dad, I'm going to go and climb El Cap. You know, they weren't very happy about it. So she's had emails from her brother saying, "Don't do it, Karen. He almost died once. Don't go with this idiot." You know, I looked on his website. He's a fucking knight. He's an idiot. And so it's like, oh God, I've read the book. Oh my God. And so we said, oh, we're going on a beach holiday. Don't worry about it. So she had this whole pressure with, I don't want to die. And I always have that pressure as well. I think most of us do. So I was like, don't worry about it. We'll be all right. But I realised she'd be sitting there. I'd be climbing. She'd be really scared. So we need somebody else to climb with us. So you kind of walk around the campsite in Camp 4. It's very hard to get somebody to just join in. It's like, excuse me, do you want to climb El Cap with me? I've climbed it loads of times. You do? Brilliant. I'm with my girlfriend over there in the wheelchair. Do you know when you're hitchhiking, you have a brass band with you? You know, they're kind of hidden around the corner. You will, give me a lift. What about my mates? So Anyway, so luckily we met these two women, Tash and Gemma, and they're from Australia. They're half Australian, half Greek, because they're from the island of Lesbos. And so they kind of wanted to come with us. So oh, that's great. So we kind of teamed up. And the first crux was to get to the bottom of the wall. So you park your car over here, and you have to walk through these woods and up this scree, and there's Karen doing nothing. You have to walk up here and you get to the bottom. So I was like, right then, so they go, carry all the gear to the bottom, we drive to the bottom. I never really worked out how we were going to do this. A friend of ours had done it with his brother, who was paraplegic, and he employed 6 guys to carry the person up in a stretcher. But I think if you do something with someone who's got a disability, they've got to be part of the process, not the process itself. The process isn't, let's get someone who's disabled up El Cap. It's like, let's climb El Cap and someone happens to be disabled. So I said, right, I'll just give you a piggyback. So I didn't really realise how tall she was. So when people are sitting down, you think they're a lot smaller. And I remember the dwarf guy, he was super light. You're running around, let's do some training, let me down. Anyway, so I kind of got her on my back, and all these like tourists like say, excuse me, can you just tie my girlfriend's legs to my rucksack? Like, wide. And just to kind of tie her on, and we kind of start walking. Do you know on Christmas Day they always have that strongest Geordie in the world competition? Like some guy with like fair hairy shoulders, like with carrying a fridge. It was like that. I was like, oh my god, like even for a bin man like me, this is like pretty hard work. And so I just saw this boulder. So I got to this boulder, sat down. I mean, she weighs like 65 kilos. So I don't know what that is in stone, but it felt pretty heavy. so I kept kind of, oh, there's a tree over there, head for that tree, sit down, like, there's a tree, head for that tree, stump, sit down. And Karen was like, oh, I can feel your heart beating, I'm like, just fucking tell me when it stops. So, and at one point, there was this famous German climber, one of the Huber brothers, and he was kind of walking down, all rippling muscle, just with a pair of shorts on. And him and his brother were trying to climb the nose in 2 hours and 50 minutes. Amazing. Like, you'd be in the cafe, you could be in like the toilets in the morning in the campsite, and you see him having a wash, and you're going, oh, you're going to have a go at the nose today? Have you already been? And so I'm walking along, and like Thomas Huber comes down there, and he just stops in front of me. I'm there like sweating, like, and he goes, Andy, I think you're out of condition. So, and he goes like, here, give her to me. I'm like, get off. She's my girlfriend. So really weird. Anyway, so we get to the bottom, and we started climbing. And it all went wrong. Everything was wrong, and I think it was just like four people. It was a complete disaster. And after 4 days, we were only 4 pitches up, and there was ropes going everywhere, and it was too dangerous. So we abseiled down, and we came back to the campsite. And luckily, this big storm came that very same day, so it would have been pretty bad to be on the wall. And we kind of hung around in the Yosemite, and Tash and Gemma kind of went away. And I think it was like kind of tough for them to know how to deal with everything. So anyway, so we were kind of hanging around in the valley, and we went for this pizza one day, and Karen just started crying. And it was a really expensive pizza, kind of moved out of the way. And I'm like, what's the matter? She said, oh, well, I've never been scared in my life. Like skiing across Greenland, doing the Inside Passage, yes, it was rude. And going over the Himalayas, I was never scared. But I am really scared about this. I'm really scared about climbing El Cap. I haven't climbed for 15 years, 16 years. I'm really, really scared. What if something bad happens? I'm like, well, we don't have to do it. We'll just go home. We'll go on a beach holiday. We'll go down the big set. We're totally fine. We don't have to do it. She said, no, I have to do it. So I said, right, we'll go back to plan A. We'll go back and I'll solo it and we'll do it together and it will be more controllable. But first of all, she needs to know what everything was called. Because before it was like just a big mad dash thing to get up El Cap. So I went and told her the names of everything. Like I made them all up before. Quick, send me up a Wazza Jill jog. Size 10. Quick, tie an elephant knot. Anyway, so kind of taught her everything was. She had to remember what everything was. And all these people started like just coming out of the woodwork and helping us carry our gear to the bottom. A few years ago, I think it was very American. A few years ago, she climbed once the handbike up Ben Nevis, which is, people have been up Ben Nevis in wheelchairs, but they were literally carried up Ben Nevis in a wheelchair. So she wanted to climb Ben Nevis, but do it on her own power. She had this kind of bike, like a mountain bike, you just use your arms. And don't want to have an arm wrestle with this woman. So she's trying to get up Ben, and there's like people walking up going, oh, I think you're wasting your time there, love. Oh, no, you're never going to do that, love. And, oh, I do think you're going to get to the top, love. I don't think you get to the top. He's like, fuck off, just leave her alone. He's like, but British people love it. People love it when people fail. They don't like people when they succeed. Scotland Antarctic, like, we're going to fucking get there, lads, and all fucking down the way back. Woo! Hey! If they got to the end, everyone would remember the names, would they? If they got back again. Who got to South Pole twice? First, can't remember. Anyway, so we're like, everyone's helping us, and then Tash and Gemma come and say, can we help you in any way? Can we help you carry anything? Or we're like, oh, come with us, it'd be great. What's that joke about 2 lesbians and a disabled person on a big wall? Fucking useless. Anyway, But anyway, so got on my back and we go up again, like, oh God, like, oh, it wasn't so bad the second time. And we get to the bottom of the wall, And we spend the night saying, like, right, this time we've got to do everything right. Everything went wrong, everything was getting tangled up, and this time we have to do it right. So, oh, yeah. So the following morning we set off. It's a fucking disaster. Everything, like, Tash and Jem are like, Andy, the whole bag is too heavy, mate. I'm like, oh, bloody hell, like, just go upside down and try and sort it out. So upside down, it's too heavy, you can't do it. We'll counterbalance it. One person's got on the other side of the whole line, and you can counterbalance the whole line, and it'll start coming up, and it starts coming up. Like, Andy, there's a tree attached to the whole line. Where the fuck's the tree come from? There's like just giant dead tree that coming up with it. Where the fuck's that come from? And like, what should we do with it, Andy? Fucking haul it up. And also like, what should we do with it now, Andy? Throw it off. And like, she's like, tree! There's like people walking along going, you got a terrible system, dude. It's like, I fucking know. So this photograph kind of sums up what a mess it was. There's Karen. Karen's in there somewhere. There's kind of ropes going everywhere. Like people had like Tash and Jim, they had ropes fed through the trouser leg going, hey, what's going on, Andy? I'm like, oh, for God's sake. Right, stop, abseil down, right, stop, everybody stop, We're never going to do this. So we kind of got the portal edges out, and we kind of spent the night on the portal edges. So like if we don't sort out tomorrow, we're going to have to go back down. It's a disaster, we've got to do it. Basically, you've all got to take control of what you do yourself, Don't ask me, I'm doing all the leading. I can't be saying, well, we do this, tie that, elephant knot. And so like, right, tomorrow, you do all the hauling, you do all the cleaning, Karen do all the belaying. We've got to get it right tomorrow. So the next day, we all woke up, and it was amazing. It did work. Everyone, I was like, it's not like I've captured a UFO and I've asked you to pilot it, and it's a rope. It's got two ends in the middle. How complicated is it, So just sort it out. So that's what they did. And they were like Karen was like belaying, and everybody was like doing everything really, really well. And this kind of photograph shows there's me leading, and there's kind of Tash is down there kind of taking the gear out, and Gemma's hauling, and Karen's belaying. And we just started like shooting up the wall, like super, super fast. We were living the dream, and we were going as fast as like a normal team, really. And poor old Karen, she had to, every time it was her time to lead, it's so overhanging that she'd have to be like kind of pushed out, and like, whoa, she'd be hanging there like in space. And she is quite scared of heights. And when you're kind of looking down, like going like, she do like 4,000 pull-ups to get up this piece of rock. And she'd just be hanging there. I really hate hanging in space. I've climbed El Cap loads of times and really hate just hanging in space. She's like hanging in space. She had like a backup rope because she's a wimp. And just in case the other one snapped. She was a bit worried when I told her that. She's like, why is there gaffer tape everywhere? I said, oh, it's got stop your rope from snapping. So she was a bit worried about that. Anyway, she's kind of climbing up. And we're getting higher and higher and higher. The thing she was most worried about really though was not dying, was having a crap on a big wall. Because how we usually do it, you're in your portal edge and you have to go in a paper bag and you have to carry it in a tube because it's a national park, you can't just throw it off. French people do. They'd probably just go in a crack or something, where no one could see it, or on a handhold, So basically you've got this paper bag, and you might think you know where your arsehole is, so you have to go in a little paper bag. So you're there like, on your post light, it's really, really rocky, and your mate sat there having some sardines or something. Try it at home. Anyway, so but if you're disabled, if you're paraplegic, it's a really big job having a crab. It's one of the worst things about being paraplegic is having a crab, basically. It involves suppositories, rubber gloves, fingers up your arse. It takes about an hour. It's not a great thing. It's not very sexy, basically, And there's no websites about it, basically. That's how bad it is. There's websites about other things with disabled people. She's got a job. I said you could do it, but anyway. So this was the thing she was worried about. So I said, like, right, okay. We'll set off, and I won't have a crap for 4 days, and you won't have a crap for 4 days, and it'll do it. It'll put a lot of pressure on us to get to the top. So I had 2 bagels in 4 days, and Karen was the same really, and that was the kind of the. So often in these things, you do these really noble things where someone's like, I was going for the summit, and I thought about my children at home, and I turned around and went back down. Really, it's because they had really bad hemorrhoids or something. So usually what people feel is very human things. So it's good to talk about them, share them. You all go home. I was hearing today about someone having a crap when they're in a wheelchair. Anyway, so don't look it up. Anyway, so she's climbing up this wall, but we have to get to the top. There's a big storm coming. If you're paraplegic, you can't control your body temperature. Being in a big storm is not a good idea. So usually we'd lower Karen out, and she would start climbing up the rope. When she got to the top, we would lower out the whole bag, and that would go up the second. But we had to get to the top, so I was like, quick, release the whole bags and Karen at the same time. So everything went out, and it got really, really windy, and the whole bag started blowing everywhere, and Karen started blowing everywhere, and everything's blowing everywhere, and we all get to this big ledge, like Peanut Ledge, which is right near the top of El Cap, looking down, thinking, oh shit, I'm glad that's not me, that's so scary. And the ropes all got tangled around Karen, and Karen's completely stuck. I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad. And she said she knew exactly what to do. She kind of, it's like, unclip the safety rope. You never want to hear that. Have you heard that joke? There's this guy is climbing, He's climbing. Suddenly, the footholds all snap off, and he's like, ah, ah. He's hanging. He can't pull himself up. He's hanging there, and he goes like, help, someone help me. Anyone help me. And this voice goes, let go, my son, and you will float down like a feather, and you shall be saved. And he goes, anybody else? So it's a bit like that. I'm like, unclip the safety rope. So she unclips the safety rope and she gets to the ledge, but she's absolutely, she's like the toughest person you never meet. She's like crying, she's like hyperventilating, really, really terrifying. It'd gone way beyond the kind of, how a comfort level. And I give her a Snickers bar, it had no effect whatsoever. So it was kind of category 10 on the kind of horrible scale. So like, as a good boyfriend, I just got the fuck out of there straight away. So again, want to get to the top, get to the top. I'm almost at the top, this big storm's coming, big kind of winter storm's coming, and I get to the summit, and I kind of tie off, and I run straight off and have a crap. Come back again, okay, I'm safe, and I've had a crap. And Karen starts climbing up, and this is Karen's pull-up bar that she had. She's kind of climbing up. I remember like laying the bolts on top of this route, right on the very lip. Whoever put them there was a real joker. It's right on the very lip, so you're like looking over the top, and you're like going, you're nearly there. Not really. No, sorry. And but it looked like a deep sea diver. Just saw this light in the dark coming up really, really slowly. Decompression coming up slowly. And eventually she kind of made it and got to the edge. Like this kind of amazing. I'm still alive. You're still alive. There's 2 more people down there. We're not far over yet. And then Tash and Gemma came up. This really amazing kind of woohoo. We've done it. We've made it. And so we then had to hold all the whole bags up. So we just sat Karen on this rock. And she's like paralysed from kind of a rib cage here, so she put her arms inside a jacket to keep her arms kind of, to try and warm herself up. And as we were hauling, we suddenly hear this kind of, help! And we looked back and she was like falling off this rock. So if she'd rolled off the top of El Cap, it would have been a really sad end to this story. But luckily we just like, stopped her, there you go. Anyway, so if this was like a Bear Grylls kind of programme, there'd be now like a panning shot of the helicopter retreating and Bear Grylls going like this. But unfortunately, we were only halfway there, really, because now we had to get down again. I never really thought about how to get down. I didn't really think any further than let's get to the top. And then we're at the top, how are we going to get down? One idea was to ring up the mountain rescue and say, help, my girlfriend can't feel her legs. And so when they arrived, like, how long has she been like this? 16 years. So how did she get up here? She climbed up. And didn't know how to get back down. I'm sure it happens all the time on Snowdon. Anyway, so there was that thing about that some people tried to take a disabled person up at Snowdon, and they left them halfway there, and they had to get them rescued to get them down. I totally understood exactly where they were coming from. So anyway, so like, right, there's only one way to do this. We're going to have to do it like Bin Man style again. So I kind of put her on my back, and the level of trust another human being can have in someone else, it's like absolutely amazing. Because remember, this is not like kind of la 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 la. Like it's like more like ha 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 ha. It's like really, really scary kind of going down. And luckily I had 2 soles on my shoes, so it wasn't so bad. And at this bit I'm like, you're fucking strangling me. And I didn't realise she wasn't actually attached to anything. Apart from her legs were strapped to my harness. So she only told me this about 2 years later. You do realise if I'd let go, I would have died. Oh, I didn't realise. Anyway, so planning. And then it started snowing. Father, why have you forsaken me? And instead of praying, oh no. Anyway, so horrendous, starts snowing. Then they hear this voice, and this from nowhere, this Australian guy is scrambling up, and he's only got his shorts on, it's snowing, anyway, it's Australian. And he comes up to me and he goes like, oh mate, I've been watching you every day from the valley with binoculars, it's amazing what you're doing, I've come to help you, is there anything I can carry? And I was like, get me girlfriend! He's like, fuck that mate. Anyway, so we abseiled down, all this kind of stuff, and we get to the bottom, and it took 9 hours, and I've never been so knackered in my life. I lost about 5 stone in one descent, really. And we get, oh God, it's horrendous. It did actually, there's a kind of a footnote to this, really. One of them is that Karen broke her leg, it's more of a leg note. She actually broke her leg, don't know how, probably that bit when I fell on her at the end. And so we got down, and she went back to Aberdeen, to the hospital in Aberdeen. The guy actually in the accident emergency was also he was like a junior doctor 16 years before when she had her accident, was in Aberdeen as well. And so he remembered this person, this young woman coming in, totally smashed to bits basically. But it's like so cool that she came in 16 years later having had another climbing accident. And anyway, so she went to hospital, and the mum rang her up, and she was in hospital for 2 nights, and the mum was like, oh, hi Karen, do you have a nice holiday? How was this beach holiday? And she, oh, it was really nice. And the mum went, you're in hospital, I can tell, what's he done to you? And so she explained what had happened. Anyway, But it turned out, so this is Karen, looking the wrong way, El Cap's behind her. And when she was 10, so as a 10-year-old child, never climbed in her life, she looked up at El Cap and she said to her mum and dad, one day I'm going to climb El Cap. So I think that's really one of the most amazing things I've ever heard. And I've heard some amazing things. Anyway, so I've now kind of cornered the market in Crips and Wobblies, kind of doing, kind of climbing. I had like business cards done and everything. And I'm very kind of sharing. The thing is, if you do things with disabled people, you've got to keep it secret, not tell anybody else about it, not make a big deal about it, And anyway, so I was in this climbing shop and this guy said, excuse me, a mate of mine has been injured in Iraq and he's paraplegic and he's going to do he wants to raise like £1 million, all these kind of sporting things. And one of them could be like climbing. How would he do it? And I said, well, you're going to get a paragliding harness and all this kind of stuff. It's quite easy. It's not very expensive. Get on eBay. And you won't want to do it more than once. And he said, and I was like, and what would you do? I said, well, you could do the Old Man of High or something. You got to do something that's really, really steep because you didn't like rubbing yourself out if you're rubbing against something. So what you want to climb is El Cap. It's like the hardest thing, but also it's probably the best thing to climb. And if you want to do it, get him to give me a ring. So I'm driving away thinking, what the fuck did I say that for? I don't know who this guy is. So I meet this guy, Major Phil Packer. He went in the army as a 19-year-old and he finished as a major in charge of all the military police in Basra or something. So I go down to London and I meet him. He's in a wheelchair, incredibly intense, one of the most intense people I've ever met in my life. And he's like, the thing is, Andy, I've never climbed in my life. I can't walk. I'm in intense pain. Can I climb the El Capitan? And I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it. So if he'd gone to Plasty Brennan or somewhere, I would have said, no. They would have said, maybe Phil, but you've got to go on like a 10-year course. And we'll work up, full-time, 10 years. We'll work up to it and eventually, maybe, we'll go and climb like, Cloggy or something, something like that. That's don't reach for the stars, you'll die. Anyway, so so I'm like, yeah, you can do it, don't worry about it. And I was like, but Phil, basically this time, I'll get a crack team of climbers, and if not that available, I'll get some other people. And we'll do it, we'll climb the same route, we'll climb Zodiac, did it with Karen and all the pitches, it's really, really steep, really, really good. You just have to do 4,000 pull-ups, I'm sure you can do that, you're like a strong guy. You are bloody heavy though, I'm not piggybacking you down. He said, well, don't worry, I've thought about that, we're going to get a helicopter. The US Marines are going to pick us off the summit with a helicopter. I'm like, oh, that sounds good. And in fact, they just have to take you. I don't really care about myself. Just take you, and I don't really care. And anyway, but we're going to have to go 3 weeks to do it. I said, okay, 3 weeks, yeah. And he's like, well, can we do it the day before the London Marathon? I'm like, well, you're going to be quite tired after this, Phil. We did it with Karen a year ago, and she's still not got over it. And all right, then. So I persuaded him all how to do it. So anyway, Phil went off and did all these challenges. He rode across the channel and all that kind of stuff. He did the London Marathon. It took him 2 weeks. He didn't win. He was last. And he started raising all this money. So he became really, really famous. So it was only about a week before we were going to go to Yosemite. I hadn't done any training with him yet. And also it got whittled down from 3 weeks to 2 weeks. I was like, why can you not go for 3 weeks? Oh, the Queen's opening a train. It's been named after me, so I have to go to that. All right, that's fair enough. And then he was like, oh, we've only got 7 days, Andy. Why? Well, Virgin Money are going to give us like some tickets to fly to America, and it's so we'd have to pay ourselves. But I have to spend a week telling everybody how amazing they are for giving us this money. And so we've only got 7 days. Can we still do it in 7 days? Yeah, don't worry about it. And so we, you never climbed in your life, got to to climb El Cap at the same time. Don't worry about it, it'll be fine. Anyway, so we. So then I go down to London a week before and I meet him at the climbing wall. First thing that happens is I go into the climbing wall and he's stood there with 2 sticks. And I think, shit, this guy's some kind of benefit cheat. He's in a wheelchair last time. And it turned out we were doing so much kind of training and kind of physio that he could kind of walk, not walk very well, but kind of walk like this with these 2 sticks. So we're about to go in to do this like Jumaring kind of practice, and the woman who owns the climb wall comes out and says, oh, excuse me, sir, can you just show me can you just demonstrate how you're going to belay? I'm like, oh, don't worry, I've been climbing about 35 years, I know how to belay. So I'm belaying like this, and she's like, oh, no, you can't belay like that. What's wrong with it? She's like, you have to belay like this. I can't remember what she was doing, but it was really complicated. And how would you lower him down? Like this? She's like, oh, no, you can't go in. So Phil kept calling me the climbing expert, which always makes me feel a bit uneasy. I haven't got any qualifications, Phil. And he's kind of there like, I thought you had to belay. I do, Phil, don't worry about it. And I said, I'm not going to belay, I'm just going to go Jumaring. Really? All right. And okay, we'll let you in. So it's kind of Phil goes in. It must look like a right pair, bin man. Guy who, it's like Star Wars. You've been like gold, and I've been like a do that kind of thing. So we go in there, and I get the harness out. I've got this harness off eBay. It's like pink. It's like a French harness. And so get the French harness out, and Phil goes, Andy, it's pink. I said, yeah, it's only 100 quid though. I said, yeah, Andy, but it's pink, Andy. I'm a major in the Royal Military Police. I'm not a Royal Marine. So I say, well, don't worry, I'll get you a black one. So I'll get you a camouflage one if you want. And so I get him all rigged up, and he starts jumaring up. He doesn't look like a man who's at ease, does he really? And he sets off. He goes like, oh, it's hard work, isn't it? I said, yeah, it is hard work. And oh God. And he gets about 15 feet up like this. He's got his backup rope there and everything else. And he's up there, and I'm like, he says, right, yeah, I can do it. Yeah, well, yeah, brilliant. Well, do you want to go to the top? No, let me down. I'm like, well, you might as well go to the top. You're here now. He goes, no, let me down. Well, you might as well go to the top. We're here now. No, let me down. Honestly, to be fair, I'm really scared of heights. So I lowered him down, and so we set off. And one of the people who was on my crack team, one was Ian Parnell. One was Ben Pritchard, who was a filmmaker, and the other one was Paul Tattersall, that guy from Wigan who wanted to kill our guiding person. So, but Paul had kind of moved to Scotland to Gairloch, and he'd kind of gone native. When I saw him, he was like wearing driftwood and stuff, and all his equipment was made out of bits of wool you got on barbed wire fences, like his rope and everything else. So I was like, oh bloody hell, Paul. So, but we were the reconnaissance. We went out a week before him. Before Phil and everybody else, and the idea was we were going to get everything sorted out and everything else. So we went in the Virgin Lounge. We had these special tickets at Heathrow Airport to go in the Virgin Lounge. So in this Virgin Lounge, and first of all, when we went in there, we're like, I don't think you're allowed in here, gentlemen. I think I think immigration's around the corner, and if you want to put that animal in a that's Paul. And so the letter's in, and we're sitting there, and it's like kind of like David Beckham, all these famous people waiting to get on planes, and there's this big menu, and the woman comes over. I'm going, there's no prices or anything. Sir, it's all free, sir. Really? It's all free? Bloody hell. How much can I have? So I had like a bottle of champagne, 2 fried breakfasts, and 15 gin and tonics. And they went to put, and Sir, what would Sir Paul, what would Sir like? And Paul goes, can I have some porridge? And just with water. And to drink, sir, can I have some hot water? So it was always a real killjoy. When you climbed El Cap, you come back down, you want to have sex with random strangers, eat pizzas, get drunk, and he'd be like, I'm just going to have some lentils. And he actually used to live in Arapalis in Australia, and he was called Lentils. That's what they called him. So anyway, so we get there, and we decide, for some reason, so this is Zodiac, we decided that we'd go and try and climb Zodiac in 24 hours. So I still had this burning desire to climb it in 24 hours. I didn't really work it all out. But anyway, so we went to the bottom. We're getting to the bottom, kind of like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And on the first belay, right on the floor, there's a portal edge with 2 people who were obviously having sex just before we turned up. And obviously it's like, hey man, hey darling, let's go to El Cap, we'll have sex on the portal edge, it'll be really sexy. And you don't expect to, we'd be stood there for half an hour looking at them. Anyway, so we're climbing up there, this guy jumps out the portal edge, he's putting his trousers on, he's like, hey man, watch out man, there's a bear around here man, there's a bear. I'm like, a bear what? So I was like, hey man, what are you guys going to do? I'm like, oh, we're going to climb Zodiac in 24 hours. Really, man? Oh my God, you guys must be really good. I'm like, we are really good. And who's the monkey? And so we went and kind of made a little bivvy spot, and we kind of fell asleep, and we kind of woke up at 4 in the morning, and I was like so jet lagged. I was like, oh God, I'm fucked, Paul. Are you fucked? He went, yeah, I'm really fucked. Should we do it? No. So we didn't do it. So about 9:30, we would kind of wake up, and this is the guy standing over us going, shit, man, you guys are fast. Oh, my God. So we went down, and we had something to eat, and we kind of had a little sleep, and we came back up that evening, and we slept at the bottom again. We got up at 4 o'clock, and we had some what do you call it, porridge. These trousers, it's a bit of all the clothes that Paul had, I'd given him them the first time I went to Yosemite in 1994, and he was still wearing them. It was like really, and he'd have these really nice kind of Patagonia trousers on. I'd be going, I've been looking for some trousers like that for years and years and years. He went, you give them to me. Anyway, so we set off climbing anyway. So we're climbing, and the same system. I would climb. I would get to a bowl. I would like pull up the rope, tie an alpine butterfly. How you tie an alpine butterfly is like this. You get your rope, you wrap it around your hand 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and then you get the inside bit and pass it over those 2 bits. 1 like that. Then the inside bit, pass it over those 2 bits like that, and pull it through, make a knot. Very good for like dew-marring on, all that kind of stuff. So you climb up, get to the belay, get a carabiner, clip it in, get the rope, pull all the slack up till it goes tight on pull. Get the rope. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Make a knot, clip it in. Okay, the rope's fixed. Paul started dew-marring, I would start climbing the next bit, and that's how we did it. So by 11 o'clock, we were a third of the way up, and I was going to do the first third. Paul was going to do the last third. I was going to do the first third. He's going to do the second third. I was going to do the last third. So I get there, Paul's dew-marring up. Well, I didn't realise that Paul hadn't done a big wall for about 12 years. So he couldn't really remember how to do it. So he's kind of struggling a bit to kind of get his head around it. So suddenly doing like a speed ascent, like straight off the couch, it was probably a bit of a bad idea. But anyway, so he's like, keep going, you're going really fast, really? Yeah, keep going. So I kept on going, I'm kind of climbing up over the crux bit, climbing up the steeper bit. I haven't got any photographs for this bit, so I've got these instead. So it gets like really, I hate builders like that, don't you? Get out to work. And so you're climbing up, and then it gets dark, and I get to the end of the second third, and by now it's kind of 10 o'clock at night, so we've still got quite a long time till 4 in the morning, so we're all right. And Paul comes up, and I'm so wasted. Everything's kind of like gets really sore from just climbing non-stop. Your hands are all swollen. You have all like kind of like blisters on you from your harness rubbing. And so Paul comes up and like, all right, then, Paul, your turn to lead. He's like, oh, you keep going. You're going really fast, and I don't know what you've done this route before. I don't know where to go, and I'll be really, really slow. And you keep going, really? Oh God. So I kept going. I had to employ a very expensive graphic designer for these bits. So that's me, and that's Paul, and I'm the one that's colour coordinated. So I'm climbing up, and kind of getting higher and higher and higher on this thing, and but really going slower and slower and slower. Because when it gets dark, something really weird happens, like some kind of primeval kind of thing, like, oh God, it's just dark. I'm kind of climbing up, and really, really wasted. And I suddenly get to this, wrong bit, that bit. I get to the bolt, and I get the carabine, and I clip it in, and I pull all the slack up to Paul, and I get the rope, and I wrap the rope around my hand 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and clip it into the carabiner. And okay, the rope's fixed. But what I didn't do was actually make it into a knot. It was just actually wrapped in the 3 times around my hand. And I suddenly realised, like, stop. So I took it off and like tied it back and put it on again. Oh, you don't anyone hear that, do you? You're just about to swing out. Stop. Anyway, so I'm like, oh my God, that's like really dangerous. He could have just fallen miles down. I got pulled into the carabiner. Carabiner could have snapped. We'd have died. So I'm like, oh God, right, we're gonna have to like do something else. I'm like, Paul, I'm wasted. We're gonna have to try and there's a ledge up here a bit, and we're gonna have to get to this ledge, and we're gonna have to have a sleep. So up here, there's a little ledge on another route, and I knew we could maybe traverse over to it. So I started climbing up, and I got to this kind of peg in the wall. It's just like blankness everywhere. I climbed to this peg, and I was like, right then, Paul, give me some tension. He's like, you're in the shower. The door handle starts moving. There's a clown, a toy clown on the chair. You look out the shower curtain and it's not there anymore. Okay, I've got it. So I get to this ledge, and I kind of pull the rope up and I clip into the rope, clip into the belay. I'm like utterly wasted. I fall asleep immediately. I didn't really fall asleep. I kind of try and stay awake, but I thought I could hear all the emails in the world. I think it was all the kind of insects, but I could hear every email in the world going through my brain at the same time. And so I was really thinking that. So I was laid on the ledge thinking, oh, I can hear all the emails. Then all of a sudden, like Paul's kind of geometering up, and all of a sudden, the whole belay, so the rope's kind of going over there. There's this massive like, everything moves. Oh God, I wake up and like, shit, what happened? And the peg had pulled out. So Paul is like geometering up. The next minute, he said he was like falling. In the dark, you just think you're dead. You think the rope must have snapped. And he fell for a very long way, maybe like 8 meters or something, and then kind of swung across the wall. Luckily, he didn't hit anything as he swung across, and then he kind of stopped. But I thought he must be dead. I was like, Paul! And then he was awake. So, which is quite funny, actually. This is another story about Paul. So he had climbed El Cap once before I met him. He climbed the nose in a day, which is a very good free climber with this German guy called Heinrich or something. And they set off like 4 in the morning, climbed all the way through the day, been right near the top, almost up to 24 hours. And the very last pitch of the nose, you're 1,000 meters up. It's pitch black, and there's all these bolts, really, really easy to climb to the top. So Paul said to Heinrich, he didn't speak any English. Paul didn't speak any German. Heinrich, no clipper no Jumar the Kletten the bolts and the Spitzengruben up the yeah, understand? 99 red balloons, yeah. So he kind of climbs up. Paul climbs up, and he doesn't like clip the rope into anything. He just like puts the rope into his harness, can belay him up. It's really, really easy. And so this is like, he's like, wings of change, la 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 la. He starts jumping up. Paul's like, bloody hell, what are you doing? He's like pulling him towards the edge. He's like, fucking hell. So he lets out about 20 foot of slack, like, bzzz. So this is like, la la ya ya ya. Never forget that. Anyway, so we wake up in the morning. We have 2 hours sleep. Wake up in the morning, and Paul's like, oh, I've had the most amazing sleep. I'm like, why are you waking me up? He said, oh, we've got to get out of here. Like, we've got 3 pitches to go. We've got to get out of here. I'm like, well, I've just done like 14 pitches in a day. I can do 3 pitches, but I didn't. It took me all day. I was so wasted. I could hardly move. The most amazing story about this route is these guys. Can you tell what country they're from? No, they're German. And the Huber brothers, the Huber barn, the worst people could ever sponsor in the world because they're always naked. And why do German people always seem to look so serious? I don't know, it's the guilt. Anyway, so the Huber brothers knew. Have you ever heard that story about have you heard that? It's just a joke. I'm diverting you, but I've got to tell you this joke, so I love it. There's this woman, she has a baby, and when she goes to pick him from hospital, the guy says, the doctor says, I'm really sorry, but your child's been born German. And she goes, what do you mean? What do you mean? She's like, it's been born German, and we don't know it's ever happened before. Take it home, see what happens. So takes the baby home, completely healthy, calls it Jim or something, and it's all right, but it never says anything. For 4 years, it never speaks. On his 4th birthday, she brings Jim some soup, and as she's walking away, Jim goes, Martha, this soup is tepid. And she goes, Jim, why have you never said anything before? So far, everything has been satisfactory. Anyway, so the Huber brothers are really, really amazing. If you go on YouTube, type in Am Limit. Basically, you have these 2 guys, brothers, that speak, they're kind of slightly camp, got long hair, my name is Thomas, my name is Alex. My name is Thomas, I'm very jealous of my brother. I have a wife, she holds me back. And so anyway, so he's a bit like Captain Kirk, this guy. I will shag anything. Anyway, so at the bottom of El Cap, and one brother's holding to the brother's harness going, ein, zwei, drei, set, fünf, and they go, and the other one just goes like, and he gets to a boat, he's like, the other one literally goes like slow motion, a bit of spittle. Absolutely the most amazing thing I've ever seen. 2 hours and 45 minutes up the nose. You know, it took 6 months. These guys, it's unbelievable. It's more than any kind of Olympic kind of thing. Anyway, these guys, they wanted to have the record for climbing Zodiac under 2 hours. So they go to the bottom, standing at the bottom, the sun's coming up. There's a Swiss team, and they've already been on the route for 2 days. They're kind of halfway up. So, there's a Swiss team. Say will be no problem. And say will be impartial. So he sets off. He's they get towards the Swiss team. Swiss team is like, I'm on speed, let me pass. So they let him pass, and they get to the top. His brother comes up. 2 hours, 1 second. Scheiße! Anyway, so they come back down again. And 2 days, they have 2 days off, come to the bottom, standing at the bottom, sun's coming up again, leather lederhosen on. They look up, they see the Swiss team. They've been on the route for 4 days. They're on the very last pitch, and the Swiss guy is 30 metres from the top. He's getting out the portal edge, and Alex goes, "I think we have a race," and he beat him. So anyway, so Phil turned up. Phil and Ian Parnell and everybody else, they all kind of turned up, and we set off on this amazing kind of adventure. A few things amazing that Phil did it. Phil was in intense pain. He didn't realise this. We had this massive thing of drugs, but they all went in the bottom of the whole bag, And it was when someone says I'm on morphine, you take it more seriously. You think it's just a kind of moisturiser and all that kind of stuff. So he was kind of like, guys, is my medicine anywhere handy? Hey, we'll give it to you in a minute, Phil, in a minute. 24 hours later. And also, he wasn't allowed to do anything for more than 2 hours a day because he was in intense pain. So the first day, we set off at 4 in the morning. We finished at 3 o'clock the following morning. So technically, that's slightly over the whole thing. And on the first day, it was really, really grim. It went from being oh, this is so funny, we're taking this guy, he can't walk properly, and to oh my God, this guy might die. Because he was in so much pain, and it was dark. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. He was really, really wet and tired and cold. Again, if you're paraplegic, you can't stay warm. And there was me and him on the portal edge, and he had to get to one more pitch because he had to sleep up there. And every time I kind of lowered him out, he's like, no, bring me back, I'm falling backwards. So I bring him back, and I'm like, you're not Phil, you're all right, don't worry about it. You got to get up there, Phil. And I lower him out again. No, I'm falling backwards. So bring him back in again, and if I give him some morphine, it would have been all right. So then I was like, right then, Ian, send down a rope, you're gonna have to haul him up. And he was like, fuck that. I was like, got up there. The other thing we were really worried about was having a crap. So what we did, and these bloody flags, is I'm not very jingoistic. Only racist people have flags, I always think. And so not very jingoistic. So when we got there, I was like, what the hell are all these flags doing, Phil? Throw them in the bin. And whenever we turned around, there'd be a flag coming out of his sleeve or out of his trousers or something. It's it drove us insane. They'd be wrapping around everything. Phil, that's really dangerous. He's like, la, 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 la. Anyway, so it's getting worse and worse and worse, getting higher and higher and higher. And So the thing about going to the toilet, that really, really worried us. So when we went shopping, like Phil wasn't as fast as us because he had these sticks. So we're like in front of him, like la la la, right, bagels, bagels, get loads of bagels. That's what I'm having a crap. So bagels, 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 bagels. He's like, guys, I don't like bagels. Don't worry, Phil, you like them up there. Da, da, da. They're like, Phil, do you like fruit? Yeah, I love fruit. Bagels with raisins, that's about right. Da, 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 da. Do you like something special? I love something special. Cinnamon bagels, that's it, right. So he just had like this massive whole bag just full of bagels. And I don't like bagels either, but if you look at him, how big he is, he's ginormous. But luckily, the team of us, I think this is me cleaning, Paul cleaning, everyone's cleaning, and Phil asleep. And Phil just fell asleep. As soon as he just get to the portal edge, fall asleep. Then you'd wake him up, Phil, you got to do it again. Fall asleep, Phil, got to do it one more time. And so amazing, I actually did it. And we got to the top, the very last day, the very last evening, gets his telephone call. The Marines, they can't come. They're not allowed to land. We have to walk down. So it took 12 hours, I think, to get down. The most horrendous, grueling thing I've ever done in my life. And anyway, so I'm just going to show you a little film of Phil climbing this climb. So it's very emotional. Some people might cry. Don't worry about it, but don't bring us all down. So yeah.
Wow.
So what do you reckon?
Amazing. Amazing. I don't know what to say really. I feel apprehensive, but in a good way. I think it's stunning, absolutely beautiful. Oh. Amazing. But it's just all good fun. It feels really, really joyous, bizarre.
Yeah, Phil's doing amazingly well. He's got about 4 times faster than I thought he was going to go. Seeing him climbing, the motivation makes you feel really proud to have come up with a stupid idea of climbing it.
Don't go, don't go, don't go. If only you could know.
It's very hard to try and get the same routine. Can't get into a routine. It's got, I guess, there's things to be done, isn't there? I don't want to sit around and not do anything. I guess it's why people do climb mountains and things. This is, it's like I have purpose and reason, which is to conquer it. I think because life's changed so much. And it puts any perspective on things, I've met people, so many good people with disabilities who are really out there doing stuff,
Don't go, don't go.
Not far to go, mate. Doing well.
If only you could know. If you would realize just how much you mean to me, you're perfect in my eyes. But this
It's day 2, and we're at pitch number 7. We stayed here overnight, and after quite a hard night, it feels much better today. I certainly feel much better, really good, ready to go. We've got 3 pitches to do today, which I don't know if you can see, but will take us up to that top overhang. Today Ian's gone up first, and then Paul will go up when I go up as well. But feeling really good. I've got to be swung out again, which is one of the more unpleasant things when the rope is over there and we're here.
Job?
Yeah. Oh.
It's a bit, isn't it? I tell you what, when you...
I think it's about to rain quite hard on us. So,
Well, when you have a storm up here, you really have a storm. So, by putting our waterproofs on, we guarantee that there won't be a storm.
nothing's the same. So many questions and so many answers, it's so hard to find the truth. When everything's changing, relationships fading, the only costume is you. Lie with me. Lie with me.
We went to bed last night reasonable time, and we stopped at pitch number 9. We were going to go on to pitch number 10, but we'd had about 4 hours sleep the day before, so everyone was quite tired. Woke up this morning on pitch 9 and decided that we wouldn't complete today, we'd go on and complete tomorrow. Mainly because we want to enjoy it, and if we had finished today we would have gone in, carried on climbing into the night. So today we're doing pitches 10, 11 and 12 and possibly 13, and leaving tomorrow to do 14, 15 and 16.
Ian, can you get a wiggle on please? Can you get a wiggle on? You're right.
So many questions and so many answers, it's so hard to find the truth. When everything's changing, relationships fading, the only costume is you.
I just can't wait to see him, his head pop over that edge and smiling, and he's got an amazing ability just to try and put on a good brave face. So it's probably what's got him through the last year, I expect. But yeah, when we get him to the top and drag him over the edge, he will be able to do it by himself. It's been a nice moment.
It's the wind. So strong.
I really hate it when you look down. Sometimes when you look down and you can tell that he's really struggling. You can't watch, you just got to let him do it himself.
Before you do it, savor this moment. It's not coming back here ever again.
Lie with me. Lie with me. I'll hold you tight. You're all I need to feel alright. Lie with me tonight.
Bit of man love there. And I think at the end I say, "You fucking mad bastard," or something. They had to cut that bit out. And yeah, so we're almost at the end. Oh, thank God for that. And I feel like I climbed El Cap tonight. In fact, doing a tour, it's probably worse than climbing El Cap. So this is Zodiac here. Get an idea of how it looking up there. There's some people. Hello, Germans. And the camera down again. And it goes up there. And so this year, well, last 2 years ago, Karen, one with the wheels, she decided she wanted to go to the Paralympics, and she's 38, she was born the day after me, and so she decided she wanted to go to the Paralympics, so she started training on one of these handbike things. Again, have a go on one of them, you will think how amazing it is. And for some reason it really inspired me to see. I never really understood before. If you're going to be good at something, you just have to train. I never really worked that out before. And anyway, she ended up like the British cycle team, and she won a bronze medal at European Champions, all that kind of stuff. And but it really inspired me, and I was like, what do I really want to do? I really want to climb El Cap in a day. That's my thing I really want to do. Of all the things I want to do, that's what I really want to do. When I was on the Eiger, I realised basically that all this kind of alpine climbing, it was just all easy really. That's why I couldn't do it. So I had to do something that was really impossible. But to climb El Cap in a day, I needed to go beyond it, because sometimes one thing I want to do with Karen is want to ski to the South Pole. After going across Greenland, the next thing is ski to the South Pole. It's 1,000 kilometres to the South Pole. In fact, the other day, someone rang me. I was on the radio, BBC Lancashire, and they're like, Andy, what are you going to do next? I was like, oh well, I'm going to ski to the South Pole with my girlfriend who's disabled, but she's not one of those scrounging disabled people. And I meant as in that's how they're portrayed on the media. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to do. So we're thinking about, we're going to ski to the South Pole, it's 1,000 kilometres, how are we going to do it? It's like 2 months of skiing. Ben Fogle did it, it's not that hard. And But then I was like, well, then someone said like, well, you know, a lot of people like ski all the way across Antarctica these days. They ski to the South Pole and they use kites and they go all the way right across, like, you know, 2,000 kilometres. And I thought, well, that'd be amazing. Maybe we could do it all the way across. And then when you start thinking about going all the way across, just going to the South Pole seems quite easy then. That's only halfway. So I reckon I did the same kind of approach. So I decided that I would go and try and solo El Cap in a day. So I remember what it was. It meant I had to climb it in a day, abseil it in a day, Jumar it in a day, and haul it in a day to get up it in a day. So it was like it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever thought about doing. But I really got into it. So I did some training. I went for 2 runs, and I was ready. So I kind of went over there. I went there in June. It was really hot. Nearly everybody had gone home, all the other climbers. And I started like trying. You go to the bottom, get up at 1 in the morning, start climbing, trying to see how your brain was going to work at that kind of time in the morning. Weird things. If you don't even done a time trial on a bike or anything, or you know, running or whatever, but basically every single second of what you're doing, you have to think, can I go any faster? And it's like that when you're trying to speed climb, except you do it for 24 hours all the time. It's so stressful. And so you're climbing up, you put your hand in a crack like this, then you feel like something squidgy. Think a French person had a crap, but it's not. It's a frog, and a frog like comes out, and you're looking at this frog, and there's just you and the frog just on the wall, just kind of climbing along. And you look at the frog, and thinking about the frog, and then your brain's like, fucking get a move on, fuck the frog, right? So you climb it along, and you climb it higher, then all these kind of like silverfish start pouring out of the crack in the dark, attracted to your head touch or something. You're surrounded by silverfish, you're thinking, oh, it's like the stars, I'm looking up, it's like the stars, it's silverfish. Fuck the silverfish, get a fucking move on. So you're climbing up, but every time I started, something would go wrong. I would drop stuff. I was attacked by some weird cat thing. And anyway, I don't want to go into it. There was bears eating my stuff. And eventually I thought, right, I need to go to the bottom of El Cap, and I need to go to the bottom of Zodiac. That's what I need to do. I've climbed it 3 times now. That's the route I'm going to do. So actually, so I went to the bottom of El Cap, went to the bottom of Zodiac, got my sleeping bag. I was just falling asleep. And then being very British, sometime in the night, someone was shining a head touch in my face. And instead of going like, get the fucking head touch on my face, you fucking idiot. I was like, oh, hello. And they was like, oh, sorry man, we thought you were a dead body. So these 2 head touches disappeared. So I get up, get my gear on, 1 o'clock in the morning, go to the bottom of the wall, look up, get all my gear ready, right, ready, 24 hours, go, start climbing, get to the top, abseil down, get to the bottom, untie the rope, do my rope up again, take my gear out, get to the top, pull the rope up, stack the rope, ready to go, come back in again. Then I realised I'd forgotten something, I forgot my spare batteries, fucking hell! And I was so couldn't be arsed to abseil down and get my batteries. I thought, well, you're not going to do it. If you can't be arsed to abseil down and get batteries, you've blown it. So I abseiled down, got my sleeping bag. Really, you just want an excuse to get back in your sleeping bag. Got my sleeping bag, fell asleep. Woke up in the morning. There was these 2 lads, really young. I don't know what they're called. This guy's Jewish, because we had a little conversation about it. This guy's ginger. And they were about 19, and so we're like just sat there kind of. You know, they had all the big wall gear, but they weren't going Zodiac. And I was like, oh, well, this was, we want to do it in a day. And we want to do it in 5 days, but we've only got 4 days. We haven't got enough time to do it. So we might just go back home and go home again. We're like really disappointed. And I was thinking, and so what are you going to do? So I wanted to solo it in a day, but I can't be asked. And they're like, and I suddenly had this idea. I've got no impulse control. You're 19, you've got no impulse control either, because that's what happens when you're 19. Why don't we team up? We'll do it in a day together. And like, really? Like, yeah. Honestly, they must have really trusted me. A bit like Matt Dickinson. Must have that kind of thing. People trust me. I'm like, yeah, we'll do it in a day. Whatever your names are. Yeah. So we so we went down and got some water and had some food and came back up 4 o'clock in the morning. We all wake up thingy, and we all get up and we get our gear on and we start climbing. And do you know when you climb with someone who's 19 and I'm 38? There's some kind of weird thing goes on, but there's one bit where I was climbing, because I led all the first third, and they were like going, you're going to have to slow down, you're going too fast. It's like, yes, I'm going to go faster now, make them work. So anyway, so we're climbing up, and we get to like the first third, and then they do like the next third, they kind of split it between them, and they're going up, and we're like going really fast, and it's like really amazing. But when I was leading, there was the most weirdest smell. I couldn't work out what it was. Have you ever smelled a skunk? Like what skunk? A skunk smells exactly like skunk. It smells like drugs. And what was happening? These 2 guys were utterly stoned the entire time. Like in California, medical marijuana is it's legal. So if you've got something wrong with you can smoke dope. So this guy's got a bad back, and the other guy had like a verruca or something. And every time they got to the belay, they'd have this massive pipe, and they'd be just like And they were like utterly stoned the whole time, which is really a bit worrying, really. I don't take drugs, kids. I think it's too dangerous taking drugs. I do. But they were really stoned. But I thought that you got to give them like some credit. They're 19 years old. They're climbing with someone they've never met apart from this, the morning before, and they're trying to climb El Cap in a day, and they were expected to climb it in 5 days. So I just kind of let it go, really. And as long as they were like holding onto the rope while smoking, it was okay. Weird things happened, like, because you don't realize how much someone trusts who you are. And I said to this guy, the ginger man, I said to him, like, on this picture up here, there's some bolts that you can clip that people don't clip, but you can reach down, you can clip these 2 bolts. And so when I'm jumaring up, because he's above me, he's slightly in the next pitch, I jumar up to be there, look up with shock and horror, and he hasn't clipped any gear apart from these 2 bolts. He thought, do you only clip those 2 bolts? So he's just got these. If he fell, he would die. He's just miles away, and he gets into this big creaking flake, and the gear is maybe like 30 metres away, like there. And he's like, Andy, should I put some gear in here? I'm like, okay, yeah. And there's all these people looking at him through a telescope, and when he got down, like going, you're that suicide boy. And so we're climbing. It's like doing like a triathlon or an Ironman or something. You get really wasted. It's just so intense, and especially when you get the munchies. So we did it. We got to the top, and the weird thing is, I don't know how long it took, but we set off at 4 in the morning. It was still light when we got to the top. So we got to the top and pulled all the gear up, and we're like, way, woohoo, high five thingy, way, I love you, man, whatever your name is, but the thing is, I wasn't even thinking about El Cap. I wasn't thinking, I've just done it. That was my ambition, to climb El Cap in a day. Because I'd moved on now. It was easy to do it in a day. I just proved it was really easy because I did it with 2 strangers, and it wasn't that hard anyway. So, but what I'm thinking about is how am I going to do it in a day by myself? Because it just took it was quite hard work, and anyway. So that's what I'm thinking about. And we sat there. And this guy turns up. He's called Alex Arnold. He's like the most amazing climber in the world, just about. Amazing free soloer, just solos the most horrendous things, hanging by one finger. Hello, and just unbelievable. And I've been sat in the cafeteria one day. I was sat there and reading something, and Alex Arnold came and he sat down next to me. I was like, oh my God, it's Alex Arnold. Should I say something? Like, oh, hello, Alex. I love you. I think you're amazing. And he just went like, are you Andy Kirkpatrick? It's like, yeah. I said, you're shit. Anyway, so we kind of stood there, and we sat around in our sleeping bags, kind of like talking, and then Alex Arnold just appears out of the darkness and just got his shorts on, loads of climbing gear, 2 ropes tied on his back, head torch, and like, bloody Alex, where you come from? He said, oh, I've just done the nose. What, have you just soloed it? Because he just soloed it a few days before in about 8 hours. He's like no, I've just done it with somebody else, but his base jumped off, and I'm going to go down there. We're going to meet him, and we're going to do it again, and then he's going to base jump off again, and we're going to go down and meet him again. I'm going to climb it 3 times in one day. So you really push into perspective, you think you're like a hard man. Yeah, we just climbed El Cap in a day. Oh, really? That's amazing. I'm just going to do it 3 times in a day. It's like, oh, you wanker. Anyway, so by the time we walked down in the morning, he was this guy. I can't remember his name now. Anyway, I'm really bad memory for names. And anyway, so Stanley, this guy Stanley. So they'd done it twice already, and now they just set off. So by the time we'd slept and walked down, they'd done it again, and they went off to do it. Did it a 3rd time. Absolutely amazing. But you could see how wasted they were. But you probably would be climbing 2,500 meters in a day. Anyway, so I love this photograph. I look like someone who's kind of like going. Climbers, and. So we stood there with these guys. This guy looks like he's going to be famous. Look at that pose. Looks like Cotswold camping. And so we kind of stood there. Look at those dustman legs. Anyway, so we kind of stood there, and this guy in red turns up. Steve Schneider, the first guy in the world to solo El Cap in a day. He just turns up, just happened to be there. And we have a beer, and we're all kind of talking, and he's like, hey man, well done climbing Zodiac in a day, man, that's cool, dude, and all that kind of stuff. And you know these guys for long? What guys? Anyway, so I'm like, he's like, hey man, what's your plans, dude? I'm like, oh, I want to solo El Cap in a day. Have you got any advice? He goes, climb really fast. Don't stop, and do it in a day. I'm like, oh, cheers. Anyway, so everyone went home, and I kind of was like hanging around the valley, I was really, really tired actually, kind of walking around, kind of trying to get like my energy levels back up, eating loads of food, doing it anyway. But you're kind of looking at all these people just having like really normal kind of fun lives, with the kids going in the river, like going down boats, all that kind of stuff, and harassing bears and all that kind of stuff. But I couldn't like switch off. I was just kind of like you know, like, oh God, I've got to do it. How am I going to do it? How can I climb El Cap in a day? And I was like really, really terrified about it. And then after about 4 days, I just knew I had to go and try it. Although I wasn't ready, I was still tired. It's about, you know when you have like a firing squad, so I'm sure it's happened to you all, and you're about to get shot, and then they're like, hang on a minute. Okay, all right, hang on a minute. Oh, sorry, mate. Okay, we're going to do it now. Hang on a minute, all right. They fucking hurry up, shoot me. So it was like that. I just had to get it over with. So I went and slept went to my car, parked my car at the bottom, kind of hung around all day, drinking milk, eating biscuits, you know, looking up, oh God, put the radio on, oh God, 500 climbs down El Cap this year, oh my God, turn it off. And so when I sat there, eventually like the sun starts going off that part of the wall, so I kind of like walk up there and kind of not trying to think about it, and get to the bottom, and all I had with me, had like a 22-litre rucksack, had 3 litres of water, I had 2 cheese and ham sandwiches. I had 1 rope, which was a bit of a mistake. I had 1 rope, so I couldn't really get back down. Good incentive not to come back down. So I had 1 rope and not a lot of gear, and my helmet and a head torch and loads of spare batteries. At 7 o'clock, I sorted out my rope and I started climbing. And did the first pitch in 90 minutes, first 2 pitches in 90 minutes, climbed them really, really fast, got to the top, abseil down, cleaned it, went up, back again, and so began this kind of just climbing, the fastest I'd ever climbed in my life. And I had made loads of mistakes, I was dropping things, and you're just like, yeah, and every time you start slowing down, I started listening to the history of the world in 100 objects on my iPhone. That was a real disaster, because it was just kind of like, oh, and now we're looking at papyrus, you know, condoms from Egypt, 19, and I was like, it slowed me down. So I'd turn it off, put kind of music on, like climbing, and you can see like the sort of, it gets dark and it's kind of pitch black, and then you climb through the dark, and then it gets light, and you're just like climbing. So you've been awake already all day, and you're climbing up here, and you're getting higher and higher and higher, and everything starts hurting. Your thumb, your fingers are so swollen, you can't bend your hands, start getting cramp every time you put your arm up. Your fingers start going like this, like you're going, where did you go, dude? But really, it's just your fingers start going like that. It's not working. You think, my fingers not working. I'm totally fucked here. Come on, keep working. Yeah, keep working. And you climb really fast, like, oh look, there's water dribbling off that thing. Isn't that amazing? Don't fucking look at the water. Keep going. Keep going. Oh God, all these pegs. And you get really, really slow now. At this point, I was 4 pitches from the top. I'm going to make it. But I didn't. So, because my shoes were on the wrong feet. So, I'm 3.5 pitches from the top, and I know I'm not going to make it. I make a mistake. I have to be able to abseil down. I've only got 1 rope to abseil down. It's overhanging. I just lose an hour just trying to get back down the rope to clean it and get back up again. I have to leave loads of gear behind, and I know I'm not going to do it, but now I don't really care. You feel like you're halfway to the moon, basically. You know, even if you land on the moon, you've got to get home again. So I've got to get home. So I just got to get to this ledge, Peanut Ledge, the one where I give Karen that Snickers bar. So I get to the ledge, but I've never been so tired in my life. I was kind of more asleep than awake, and I get on the ledge, and I immediately fall asleep, but like uncontrollably, like a micro sleep. So I'm like, oh my God, I was asleep. Oh my God, I was asleep again. Oh my God, I've got to stay in control. You're on the ledge. You're on El Cap. It's a massive way down. You're not clipped in yet. Shit. So I clip in. I'm like, oh God. I'm asleep again. Oh my God. I've got to settle down. I've got like about 1 mouthful of water left. But if I fall asleep again, I've got to have my water. I've got to get my water. I've got to get my water. Oh my God, I was asleep again. And I tried to imagine, because it's weird. It's like, you always imagine if you're driving really fast in the car and you started having like a fit. It's like that, really. You know, you're losing control. You're falling asleep. So I thought, right, I've got to get down. And I thought, right, visualization. Imagine that your brain is like a castle, and there's loads of walls all the way around it. And in the middle is a citadel, where you're kind of like your reptilian brain is, like the ZX81, all the basic functions. And outside is all your dreams, desires, memories. Fuck all that. Doesn't really matter about all that. So, but your citadel of your brain, that's totally fine. So I just kind of thought like that, and it kind of worked. And I abseiled down, I got my gear, put my rucksack on, G-man back up, got to the ledge, drank the last bit of water, and then fell asleep. And when I woke up, I was still attached to the G-man, so I wasn't tied in or anything. And but the weird thing was, I woke up with the most horrendous cramp I've ever had in my life. It was like kind of God or somebody. It was like, and I kind of, do you know when you get cramping, you like sit up like, and I was on this ledge like going, and whatever I did, it wasn't going away, like, I thought maybe a rock had hit me or something, but it wasn't. It was like this horrendous cramp. So I kind of stood on the ledge, I was like, God, I must have to keep going, I keep going. I will keep going, Father. Anyway, so, I'm not Jesus. Anyway, so I kept on climbing. So I just had 2 pitches to go. This is like in the morning, the sun came up, and this is the last pitch, climbing up, we can see the top, and I got to the summit. And usually when you get to the top of El Cap, you're really, really happy, But for some reason, I was in such a weird kind of state. Like I crawled over to these rocks, and there was some water underneath the rocks. And I got the water out, and I drank a whole bottle, and then fell asleep. But I was still attached to the rope that went down over the edge, back to the belay. And I had to go back down one more time to get my gear. And really what I wanted to do was like untie the rope and go, bzzz! And, but I couldn't, so because my bloody wallet was in the rucksack. So I went back down, abseiled down, got my rucksack, put it on, Jumad back up, had another bottle of water, fell asleep one more time, and woke up and kind of knew I had to go back down. And for some reason, I was really, really disappointed. Every time I climbed El Cap, it was the most amazing experience of my life. And this was probably one of the most amazing ones, but not in a good way. And I kind of walked down all by myself. There's nobody around, no one around to kind of share, like, you know, what have you been up to? Oh, I just tried to climb this. Oh, what a shame, blah, blah, blah. You're all by yourself. And I got back to the car, and I was sitting in my car, just really pissed off. And all of a sudden, I noticed this guy. It wasn't actually this guy. This is Bear Grylls' dad. And there was this guy, like a proper scout master with a big moustache, like big, you know, like Daniel Day-Lewis kind of moustache. And he was kind of just stood there looking at me. And I was like, hello? And he was there. He said, were you that young man who was climbing El Capitan yesterday? I was like, yeah. He said, that was a mighty fine thing you did. And then he got on the bus, because it was a free bus, and he went away. So I've kind of been finishing this talk, really, that bit, because it takes a long time when you do something like that to really get your head together, what was going on. And all I can really think about, really, is kind of make this connection between James T. Kirk, really. Because when James T. Kirk was climbing El Cap, basically you have the irrational, which is him, and the irrational him, who kind of spoils everything. You're doing this really, really crazy thing, and then Spock comes up. You know, you're shagging aliens, climbing El Cap, and really there's always this part of your brain that's always there trying to say, don't do it. But what I'm saying is sometimes it is quite good to do it. So it's all there to be done. And someone emailed me recently and said, I read your book, and I went and soloed El Cap, and it sounds like he almost died, this guy. And he did things like, it took him all day to lead the first pitch, and all day to lead the second pitch. And he knew he wanted to come down, but he didn't come down. He kept on going. And I'm right near the top of the route, must have been on it for like 3 weeks or something by the sounds of it, his whole bag got stuck. So he abseiled down, instead of abseiling down his lead rope, he abseiled down the other end of his whole line, which was going through the pulley. And when he got to his whole bag, he pulled it out where it was stuck, and it weighed less than he did. So he went shooting down the end of the whole line as the whole bag went up. And he hit a ledge, and he didn't die, and his whole bag got stuck in the pulley, and he survived. But it really made me think about what is it that kind of limits people from doing stupid things, really. So all you have to do, if you want to do something in your life, just do something twice as hard, and then you'll get there. So I'm just going to finish, actually, with a little bit of music. But this bit of music, for me, it just kind of, in a way, like El Cap, of all the kind of things I've climbed it 18 times, and it kind of really defines who I am, and I've always had an amazing time, and I'm totally in love with it. So anyway, I hope this makes sense.
Hey, could you stand another drink? I'm better when I don't think. Seems to get me through. And say, do you want to spin another line like we had a good time? Not that I need proof. Swell, we're living in a hotel. Someone's ringing my bell in a room without a view. And hey, heard you read another book. Should I take another look? Who am I without you? Hey, could you stand another drink? I'm better when I don't think. Seems to get me through. Say, do you want to spin another line like we had a good time? Not that I need proof. Swell, we're living in a hotel. Someone's ringing my bell in a room with Heard you read another book. Should have taken another look. Who am I without you?
Thank you very much. Thanks for listening. Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you. Thank you.